to Curse of Strahd. I am Mick. I will be your dungeon master this evening. And I would like to introduce the party that we'll be running. Rather, I would like them to introduce themselves. Going down the list, I have Peter here.
Oh, that
Peter,
must be me.
yeah, would you like to introduce who Pavu
Uh,
is?
certainly. I am going to be playing Pavu Waldex Arothanir today, and he is a. Oh
All right,
gosh, what is my race? I've already forgotten what race I am. This is my good.
Goliath.
A
Goliath,
Goliath.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said. He is a Goliath, a towering behemoth of a humanoid, 8 feet tall and 330 pounds. He's pale of skin and battle scarred from many years in the drow mines. His eyes are almost completely washed out, what from almost a decade of lack of exposure. He was captured from his clan when they were raided by the drow and has been tortured both psychologically and physically to maintain his obedience over the last 8 years. However, recently, another slave has entered the toil and despair of the Underdark and has allowed him to break free from some of his torturous being, and he has begun to reemerge as himself, and he's going to be a scary dude.
Right, but he's learning how to have friends.
Friends, yes, friends, it appears, are a good thing. They get you out of slavery, maybe.
I guess I should have mentioned beforehand that in this instance of Curse of Strahd, we're beginning the story with a group of 5 adventurers who have escaped from the drow slave mines. Um, so Pavu, being the one who has spent the most time there, has possibly been the one who has facilitated the most sort of recon in terms of he knows the ins and outs of
He's
this prison.
he's seen some things, man.
And
Yeah.
the Harpers, a organization, has sent some people to try and free you. With the 5 of with the help of the 5 of you, you are now free. Sean, could you introduce Revan?
Yeah, Reven Ontalis. He is from the Moonshay Isles, and I may or may not attempt the accent, but if I do and it goes askew, excuse me. But he's from the Moonshay Isles. He's half elven, born to a human father and an elven mother, and spent. His father was killed at an early age. Spent some time with his mother, kind of felt awkward amongst elves, as you can well imagine. Anybody other than an elf might feel awkward in that situation, but learned to become a bard, learned that his strength was with the bardic arts. Also came a little bit out of his shell. He studied under a satyr to learn some of the bardic disciplines, and sort of taught him to come out of his shell and sort of spin his insecurities into audaciousness. And so he has learned to be kind of self-confident in the face of insecurity, and as such mouths off a lot. He
My kind of bard.
Yeah. So he decided to go out into the world and kind of practice his arts, get refamiliarized with his human side, and got pretty cocky, thought that he was wise with the world, and learned otherwise. The drow caught him unawares while he was sleeping and enslaved him. He, as you can imagine, a bard is not necessarily a great physical worker, so he wasn't breaking rocks. He was more of a personal servant, entertainment sort. But he learned pretty quickly to keep his mouth shut and keep his head down when he needed to, and was somewhat wily in ingratiating himself where he needed to ingratiate himself, and that's when he met Pavu and kind of helped sort of dissuade the drow from exerting some of the more ruthless punishments, and I think the two kind of became friends from that. And yeah, but he's about 5'9", so not super tall, 175 pounds, so it's kind of thin build. Moves very cat-like, very, very handsome. I would call him ruggedly handsome, except he's a half-elf and probably couldn't grow an ounce of facial hair. So rugged is not the word. Kind of has longish brown hair, silvery gray eyes, and of course the telltale slight slant to the ears. Wears a lot of blues and grays. And if you hear him talk, like I said, he's got that Moonshay lilt to his voice. So yeah, always
Which
looks
may-
like he's got a perpetual smirk on his face. So whether or not he intends to. Oh, when he
Okay.
does have he has a green spiral tattoo under his left eye. So it's very distinctive.
Distinct tattoos showing off that. Well, I'll ask you what those tattoos mean in a later time.
Yes.
Eric, could you tell me what is Delvin all about?
So Delvin is a sage and scholar, and he is an older gentleman in his 50s, although due to his indoor activities, being reading and research, he appears a bit older. He grew up in the Hillsfar area of Faerun, and he became a priest of Ogma. So until about about 4 months ago, he was a senior scribe at Mentor's library in Flan. So Delvin is a scholar first. He does enjoy cartography and research, but when it comes to combat, he will stay towards the back and hopefully let the others deal with things. But he is quite skilled in the healing arts. So
Okay, a healer, but not exactly. You don't get much battles in a library.
no, exactly. Which it will be interesting to see how the character progresses, because he will more or less be forced into those kind of situations where he's not used to it. So I'll be curious to see how he will grow with
Right.
combat.
I'm excited as well. Next on the list, Lindsay. Would you like to tell me a little bit about Elphaba? Elphaba.
Yes. I am playing Elphaba, and she is half elf. She has a human father and an elfin mother. Her parents found each other while her mother was tending bar at a tavern in the city. Her father was an adventurer, and once they began to fall in love, they fled the city to escape the persecution of the locals. After this, they went on many adventures together and eventually amassed great riches. They finally retired to a small town once Elphaba's mother became pregnant. Unbeknownst to the father, Elphaba's mother was royalty, and she was kidnapped after a slaver became aware of this. Elphaba was kidnapped specifically to secure a handsome ransom from the royal family. Elphaba was taken while traveling from her home to a tutor who was to help her deal with her burgeoning magical talent. Unknown to her mother, Elphaba's father had a heritage as a sorcerer. This is what is expressed in Elphaba.
Okay, that makes sense. On the road to your tutor, you were sidelined, kidnapped by these drow. The drow wanted money and have taken you to this slave camp. They probably have treated you slightly nicer than the others, if only because they want if they want a reward, they don't want to rough you up too much. But you haven't been treated well, I would imagine. Katie, could you tell me anything about Corvus?
Yeah, so Corvus was raised in a small town that really doesn't warrant even saying its name, and his parents were And they had a really good life doing that. Corvus was very athletic from a young age, and so his parents, kind of fostered that in him and taught him some other things. But eventually, Overlord moved into town and started enacting his taxes, and when you couldn't pay, you got sent off to the slavers. So, in an effort to save Corvus from this, his mother took him to a nearby or monastery, pardon me, to become a monk. And so he was put into their care at a younger age and learned their ways, but never really much family ties, but still had memories.
Right.
So his parents eventually can't pay their taxes, and he hears word that they get shipped off to the slavers' encampment. And so, hearing this, he decides to leave the monastery and go and search for them, and purposefully puts himself in the way of those that would bring him to where his parents might be.
Okay. Probably recently found his way to the sort of tunnels leading to the Underdark, where the drow have they probably thought they were all fancy. Oh, we caught ourselves a monk. And you're like, ha ha ha, I knew it all along.
Yeah, he's pretty young, so he doesn't know much outside of his small, sheltered world, but he's very observant, so.
Okay. So in the camp itself, it was very dark. There were occasional torches, but you were always sort of in like 90% darkness. You were asked to do all these tasks like clean out the spider troughs and mine for some kind of drow jewels. And as you guys, I assume that Corvus probably came in quite recently, found out that his parents were not in this slave camp. Perhaps as you were figuring out where they were, the Harpers, this faction of freedom seekers, has come to your group and has sort of broken the five of you out of this prison. They are fighting these drow, and you guys know that you guys are all fairly strong in your own way, but without weapons, without training, without sort of hit points, you guys know that you cannot really help in this battle with the drow like lords. So the Harpers have asked you guys go to the surface, meet up with our Harper agents, where we can just sort of regroup and figure out what to do next. But when the five of you got there, when you got to the surface, you realized that you didn't know exactly where in Faerun you were, and that the camp that the Harpers told you to go to, was completely destroyed. The tents were just in scrambles, there were bodies everywhere, and you found one man alive. He introduces himself as Aragol. Did you guys all see the handout pop up?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This kind of greasy-looking man. He's in bright-colored clothing and wearing a symbol of the Harpers. I forget what that symbol is, but he's wearing it. And he is beaten and bruised and bloody and has like a massive scrape all the way down his arm. And he's, please, you must keep going. The drow have found our camp. You must go west, march down the Svalich woods, the Svalich road into the Svalich woods, and pass through the valley of Barovia. There you will find find another camp. Please go there so you can help us in our quest to save the rest of the slaves.
This sounds like a good place. We should go.
I'm all
He
not for lingering.
He picks his sword up and heads back into the mines, leaving you guys to travel down this road.
I assume there's not. Are there bodies? You said here.
There are some bodies there, yes.
Is there equipment on said bodies?
Very little. You're able to scrounge up exactly one item from each of you, which is currently on your sheet.
Okay. Fair enough.
Have I heard of this valley?
No. In fact, none of you have heard of the Svalich Woods, the Svalich Road, or the Valley of Barovia.
I
Um,
wonder where we are.
you're sort of you feel like the Underdark, is very sprawling, and you were sort of drugged and knocked out, brought through this series of tunnels. But hopefully, now that you've got sort of you've got the name of the location, you could probably find your way to safety. As you head down the road that Aragol told you to go to, the woods start to press in on you a bit more. They get thick, almost unnaturally thick. Does anyone who is the best at nature? I think it would be.
That would not be
That would
me.
be.
Let's see. Where am I at on nature? I've got a +0 to nature, so I am pretty
Okay.
great.
I got a +7. So
Let's see.
I think
Hates
it's the
nature.
Woods.
I think it's on my character sheet. I'm not sure, but
shall I roll?
Yeah. So if you click the nature. 23 is
Oh.
fantastic.
wow.
As you head down this road, that the woods are pressing almost unnaturally close together. The wood itself, you sort of look at it from a distance and you're like, wow, these trees are dead. But then you get up to it and it's like, no, these trees have sort of a weird half-dead, half-living thing going on. The moss is just everywhere and you cannot tell which way is north and which way is south.
I'm gonna unlimber my sword.
As you march, the sun begins to go down. You can't even see the sun over the canopy of these trees. And the woods are quiet this night, and the air grows chill. Your fire sputters as a low mist gathers around the edges of your camp, growing closer as the night wears on. By morning, the fog hangs thick in the air, turning the trees around you into gray ghosts. Then you notice that these aren't the same trees that surrounded you the night before.
This is not good.
So you guys are on this road. Black pools, you wake up in this sort of clearing that is next to a road that is very similar to the road that you were walking on, but this one looks much more aged, much less traveled. There are a few really deep wheel wells, which have filled with water, and they're sort of black pools of water that stand like dark mirrors in and about the muddy roadway. The great trees loom on both sides of the road, their branches clawing at the mist. What do you guys do? Just as an aside, that was obviously a big wall of descriptive text and a massive railroad getting you into the adventure. At this point, you guys have the reins.
How did I get here? This is not my beautiful house. How tall are the trees?
Probably like 100 feet. Like big trees. Fairly big.
If I were to try and climb, do I think from my current vantage point that I could get high enough to try and get a lay of the land?
Yeah, I'd say there's enough sort of variance in the hills that you could try that. Give me an athletics check. Perfect. So as you're climbing these trees, you realize that they are dying in a way. They're very weak, and most of the difficulty of climbing is just finding branches that aren't going to crush under your massive weight. But you manage to find a sturdy enough tree, and you get up and you see a dog barking in the distance.
How did the dog get up here?
Pavu eat dog. Dog is good.
So I'm going to reveal some stuff on the map for you. You see nothing but trees in every direction.
Can I see further down the road in either direction?
Yes. One side to the west, or at least to what I'm going to say is the west, there seems to be a large stone gate. And now that you're sort of above the tree line, you can tell that the sky itself is rolling clouds, like big gray storm is coming clouds.
Is the gate open or closed?
You can't tell.
Can we see the gate from our vantage point, or only he can?
Only he can, and that's because this gate is like 400 feet tall.
Mm.
This isn't really a gate so much as a giant fuck off monument.
I'm going to climb down and tell the rest of the party what I've seen. I've climbed very high in trees. There's a large gate just there. It is too big.
We should
Very big.
investigate and see possibly there could be civilization on the other side.
I mean, is it even worth going west anymore? I mean, we were told to go west, but I mean, what is west now?
Can I remember which direction the sun was when I was up in the tree?
It was
the north-south.
The clouds were so thick that you couldn't tell.
I
You
could
couldn't
not see
by-
the sun.
Yeah, you couldn't see the sun, though you could probably see that, the sun is brighter in, crap. What way does the sun rise? In the east. The sun, like, you can generally tell which way is east and north and west.
The gate is which direction?
Not south, though.
It's west.
The gate is west.
Gate is west. Okay. We have nothing else to go on besides go west. Strange magics are happening, but we have nothing else.
I'd agree. It's the only sign of civilization that we have available to us.
I agree. Let's keep going west.
Structures don't mean civilization.
Well, it's unlikely to be drow at the very least. They're not likely to have built structures above ground.
I don't recognize this forest, and I know quite a few places in the world. I don't know where we are.
So I guess none of you are really saying not to go in that direction.
Right.
I presume you guys head off that direction. You're realizing now that you've spent a night and you're getting a little hungry. You probably had some food. There were enough rations at the camp for you to feed your bellies for yesterday and last night, but you're out of food for the breakfast. The fog spills out of the forest to swallow the road behind you. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods and on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. Two headless statues of armed guardians flank the gate, their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence. So the gate itself is closed. The bars are wide enough that they're like 2 or 3 feet between each bar. You could easily slip through them. You might have to grease up the Goliath. But
Suddenly the game
Take grease.
the game becomes a little different.
But you can see in that picture that I posted, the horseman represents you guys. And that is approximately how tall it is.
Well, that's not exactly the most inviting sight I expected to see.
I see no tending to this wall.
It is long since it has been manned.
Can I do a history check to see if that this kind of structure or the design sounds familiar?
Or the design of the
Yes.
armor.
Absolutely. 11 is enough that you can tell this seems to be about 500 years old.
Okay.
Between 400 500. You can't really place the position, but it seems eastern to where your home is.
Okay. Anything I find out, I'll party, unless I say otherwise. So.
I would like to use my divine sense to try and sense if there's any strong sources of evil or good in the area.
Yes. So on your sheet, can you click the little, if you hover over Divine Sense, there'll be a little text speech bubble?
Yes.
Perfect. So what you detect is not so much evil in a particular place, so much as everything kind of feels bad. It's not that this gate is evil, and it's not that the woods are evil, it's that the air itself is permeating this kind of unhappiness. And as you do this, Pavu, you get this chill down your spine as this sort of realization that you have a god because you're a paladin, or do you? Actually, I should ask.
No, Pavu does not have God.
But
Pavu worships at the altar of might.
so your worship of might, your sort of strong beliefs connect you to this divine power source. Even just sort of the power of self. But you are realizing that that connection is not there. You are not connected to your god right now, or lack of god.
Pavu will hunch his shoulders down and look around slowly and say, evil permeates this whole place. It is in the trees, in the soil, in the gates. It is in the very air.
Do you mention this sort of lack of connection to the party?
No, I do not mention that at this time.
Okay. So yeah, this whole place seems unnatural and evil. But it doesn't seem more evil in front of you than behind you, so that's good. I mean, kind of. So you guys are about, like, I'd say 100 feet away from this gate. Would you guys like to approach?
Yeah.
Is there any sign of movement at the top of the gate? Sentries or guard posts?
No. And as you're looking, house rule that I should mention in the stream, I am rolling all of the perception, insight, and investigation behind the screen, so you guys won't know whether or not you got a good roll or bad roll. However, I am
always
good
rolls.
I am going to tell you that in this instance, I rolled a 20 for Corvus's perception, and Corvus has an. So Corvus, you are very certain that you see no movement on the top of this gate, behind this gate, around this gate, and you realize that you hear no birds, no insects, no life of any kind around you. It is silent, other than the wind moving the trees.
This place feels empty to me.
There's something wrong with this land.
Well, the gate has to belong to something. We might as well go past the gate and see what's beyond it.
Sounded a large one.
Yeah, Pavu, do you approach?
You must mean me. Yes, Pavu will confidently stride towards the gate.
So as you get about 20 feet away, and you can see the details of these bars, and the bars themselves, for about 10 feet up, have these dents and scratches like weapons have been beating on this gate. And as you get, 2 steps closer, the entire area is shudders with this loud crunch as this gate that hasn't moved in hundreds of years swings open, barely like missing you as it just goes full on open, echoing this screech throughout the air around you. The wind from this gate pushes, and you guys are still wearing like slave clothes, so this wind is just pushing against you, and then silence.
I'm going to turn around and call to the rest of the party. They say they're home. We can come in.
Well, that was right inviting, wasn't it?
You still look around and you see no signs of movement. No signs of life.
I'm going to unsheath my longsword and begin walking into the gates.
We're sure that those gates don't have toothy maws, right?
We'll find out.
Yes.
Find you.
I would like to investigate close to where he approached to see if maybe there was something he triggered to have those gates opened.
Yes. Your investigate is really good. You search around and see nothing that looks out of the ordinary.
How odd.
But you do see that the wagon tracks that you've seen in this muddy road do go through the gate.
Okay.
No.
There are just as many tracks on the other side as there are on this side. And they look within a few days of fresh.
So how about the marks on the bars? Are they on both sides of the gate?
No, they're only on the outside.
Only on the side we're on.
Yes.
Are they rested? Are the marks rested?
Yes. They look fairly old, not as old as the gates themselves, obviously, but whatever has happened here seems to have been hundreds of years ago. Yeah.
Well, I'll go forward then.
I'm moving on.
Follow the large man,
Yep.
but stay behind.
So the gates remain open and motionless as you pass through. You can see that on this side, the trees are just as dead as before. But Corvus, you're hearing the sounds of, birds, squirrels. Not many life signs, but there are signs of life on this side of the bars. As you guys get about 60 feet away from the gate and the fog starts closing behind you, the gate shuts.
With the same clangorous noise.
The same massive echo throughout the land.
Is there stairs on this side of the gate?
No. Wait, stairs? No. Oh, like going up the gate?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Up to the top of the wall, the ramparts, no.
No. Looking at the very top, it looks like it's almost like a, not a dome, but a cylinder, like it's rounded at the top.
And how do the gates interact with the trees?
It's about the same.
The hills go up. The hills go all the way up, and the walls are sort of built into the hills. The trees themselves are so thick that it would be like cutting through wilderness to climb through the trees. But it would not be too difficult to basically go around this wall.
Okay.
That wouldn't be impossible. Difficult, but not impossible.
Pavu's going to reach out again with his divine senses and see if there's any change in the presence of might.
It seems a little more evil on this side.
No, he's reaching out specifically to see if he can feel the divine presence.
Oh,
of might.
no. There is no gods here. You're still receiving your divine powers, but it's basically like you have typed in Google on your divine senses, and it says connection not found, but Google shows up anyway.
Error 404. I'm gonna. The rest of the party is caught up with me now.
Yes.
I'm going to turn to the party and say, the presence of gods is lacking here. The evil permeates everything.
Well, that's a bit disturbing.
Yes.
Indeed.
Then I'll
Delvin,
just shake
you
my
feel
head.
that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to reach out to Agma.
Yeah, as you reach out to Agma, you get your spells are still there, and you feel like you're still as strong as you could, but that connection is gone.
Have I heard of anything like this before?
Um,
What about this?
make me a religion check.
Okay.
With your fucking +7 religion, of course.
That's what I am.
You have heard of, you've never heard of any instances of this, but your sort of theoretical metaphysical knowledge is that you are probably in something that is incredibly magical, perhaps divine on its own right, or you are on another plane that is so far from the material plane that gods don't even reach it.
Okay, I will not share that knowledge with the party.
It is pretty scary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And as you're thinking about this, Corvus, you smell something. You smell the smell of death coming from the trees about 10 feet from the road to your west. You see no movement, you hear no movement. It's not like undead, but you think there's a body over there.
I share this with the large man and suggest we investigate.
I look in that direction and see if I can discern anything else before approaching.
You see a couple wolf tracks in the dirt around in that direction. They look, a couple days old.
Very well. This could mean food, I think. I will slowly walk towards the direction that Corvus indicated.
It's difficult. Being so big, you're able to crush some of the undergrowth, but slipping through some of the trees is and you
push down puny trees.
And you come across half buried in the mud is a human body, a man, very dead, very. Actually, why am I paraphrasing when I have read aloud text? The foul scent leads you to a human corpse half buried in the underbrush about 10 feet from the road. This young man appears to be a commoner. His muddy clothes are torn and raked with claw marks. Crows have been at the body, which is surrounded by paw prints. The man has been obviously dead for several days, and he holds a crumpled envelope in one hand.
I'm going to surreptitiously check the rest of his pockets if he has any.
Yeah. Looking around, you see sort of underneath where his body had died, there is a backpack that is pretty dirty. He has a pocket knife in his clothes, and strewn about the area, you find a spear, a partisan, a spear, a torch, a flint of steel, and you notice that his boots are very nice. They're thick and leatherous. With some effort. Not.
They won't be quite so fine after you put them on.
So I'm gonna send a handout. This is what you see. A partisan is a spear that has sort of side spikes at the blade, but mechanically it's a spear. So if anyone wants to add a spear to their inventory.
Oh, whoa. I'm the only one here, right?
That's true. Yeah, you see all this.
Yeah.
Let's just calm down a second.
What are you looking at over there?
I call out to him, and
I'm gonna call back. I found some boots. I'm gonna sit down and put the boots on.
Yeah.
And wait to see what the rest of the party does.
I'll come
I
over.
really
I'll
trust
come
this
over to.
guy. I'm coming over.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come over to check him out.
Yeah, you guys see it's not particularly dangerous to get here. By the way, the boots, I'm going to send you another handout. These are thick leather boots. They tighten with thin iron chains instead of shoelaces, and have a thick rubbery sole with small iron extrusions like cleats. They essentially allow you to ignore difficult terrain in Barovia.
Those are super useful for somebody's gonna be pounding on other things' faces a lot. All right.
I'd like to examine the letter.
Yes. Also, can you step closer to the microphone, please? Because you are quite quiet.
There we go. How about that?
Still a little quiet.
So yeah, I want to check out the letter.
Yes. It is sealed. Do you break the seal and check it
I
out?
will. I will break the seal.
It reads, Hail thee of might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina Kolyana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now, my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this foul beast. He has become too powerful to conquer. So I say to you, give us up for dead and encircle this land with the symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Kolyan Andirovich, Burgomaster. He says dramatically.
Did Delvin read that aloud?
I did.
Well, that's charming.
What do I know of vampires?
So vampires, vampanios. So some common knowledge about the vampires are that they don't like sunlight. They are killed by stakes. They bite people and turn them into vampires. You do know that it's not being bitten by a vampire that turns them into a vampire. It's that they suck your blood, and if that sort of blood suckingness is what kills you, you raise as a vampire. So just being bitten once is actually not a vampiric death sentence.
You have to be drained to death to become a vampire.
Exactly. And you also know that they are pretty risky business. In that, the back of the book says that this adventure goes to level 10. And the front of the book has a vampire on it. So,
Spoiler alert!
Dude, you ruined the whole thing for me.
oh man, yeah.
So, question: the backpack are these the contents of said backpack, or is the backpack its own thing with its own contents?
This is the contents.
Okay,
The
all right.
6 days rations is what's inside.
So there are 5 of us. I would suggest that I will suggest that we eat what we can now.
Hang on to this one ration for later.
Yes.
Well, it's
Well, I was
6
gonna say,
days worth of
being a
rations,
monk-
right?
Being a monk, can I eat a half
For one-
ration? And
For one
Just
person,
for
though.
one person.
Yeah, each day ration is for one person. It's kind of assumed that you're eating this ration throughout the day. So if you want, you can eat a half ration. Absolutely. There are rules for starvation, but I will deal with that tomorrow. I'll deal with that once you've been doing that for a while.
I'm also going to take the spear if nobody else can use it.
Feel free.
I heft it in my hand and ask if anyone else is able to use a spear.
I'm more of a sword guy
No.
myself.
Okay.
well, I'll take the other fancier spear.
Or just the one spear, yeah?
Yeah, there's only one spear.
What is
A
it?
partisan.
Yeah, that one.
Pocket knife.
There's a knife.
I throw the spear up to Corvus.
So the small folding pocket knife is more. It's not really good enough for combat. It would be considered an improvised weapon.
Anybody carve wood?
No, it's not.
I mean, I'm
That's all
sure
right.
you can.
I'm going to dump the rest of the crap into the backpack, put it on, and say we should get moving.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and that's good because as you say that, all of you hear to the north the sound of woo.
Oh,
That's
lovely.
what the wolves-
Lunch.
Wait. I've got a prop for this.
Do you have a real one?
Hold on.
Yes, he's got a couple of props for that.
If he comes back carrying a Sheba, like Eric was holding the cat earlier.
Yes, that is exactly what you hear. Robotic wolves.
The worst
The most
kind.
deadly type of wolves.
It's actually a wolf that's right behind you. It has a walkie-talkie.
I knew this
and
day
I
would
forgot
come.
to turn the walkie-talkie off.
They got it, guys. You can stop now.
So as you guys head back down the road in the only direction you can go, unless you guys want to turn around, but that's the direction wolves are coming from.
Are we wanting to flee from the wolves?
Well, say we.
The wolves are coming from behind us.
The
We're in
wolf
slave
actually.
class.
I should explain. The wolves seem to be coming from northeast, generally from behind you. They don't necessarily seem to be approaching so much as they are there, and being loud.
They know we're here and they're going to flank us. Let's move.
And not all of us are armed. It might be best if we move.
Mm-mm.
Very well.
Anyone have any animal skills that can pitch in?
I do not.
That we should probably get the heck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an aside for this map, I assume you guys can all see this map.
Mm-hmm.
Each hexagon is about a quarter mile.
Okay.
Oh, my.
And you guys walk at a speed of about 3 miles an hour.
Oh.
So as you continue down the road, 10, 15 minutes pass, and you hear the wolves again. This time they are, in fact, closer. And they sound like they're coming from both the east and west of you.
Oh.
You
Lovely.
feel like these wolves are going to be on you in a matter of minutes.
Is there any more open space near us that we can make it to?
Not really. The road is about 20 feet with the road is like 10 feet, but there's about 5 feet of grass on either side. But you see no major breaks in the trees in either direction.
Is there any spot in the trees that is impenetrable even for a wolf-sized creature that we could put our backs to?
Very few. You could find one that is probably about 5 feet long. Nothing particularly defensible.
What's the weather? Is it dry? Is it moist?
More moist than dry.
I'm going to start pushing the weaker looking ones behind me away from the sounds.
Could we cast fire into the underbrush?
Yeah, you think you could definitely get at least a little bit of fire going.
We'll burn the whole place down.
I look around.
How much light
I'm great with a sword,
left?
not so much with the fire.
Sorry, Eric, were you saying something?
Yeah, how much light left in the day does there appear to be?
Oh, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, good.
How close would you say these wolves are?
After you guys have done some sort of thinking and discussing fire, you'd say they're about that far.
Oh, hold on. Where are we? There we are. Oh,
I have a question.
I
Yes.
can't move.
So disguise self. Make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends. You can seem 1 foot shorter, taller. You can appear thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your body types. You must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs. Could I, in fact, look like a wolf if I needed to?
I've always read it that you're supposed to look like
Humanoid?
a humanoid, because
Yep.
you can only seem a foot shorter.
Yep.
So it
Okay.
seems like a wolf would be out of the.
That's fair.
Can you guys see this sort of map right now?
Yes.
Yes.
In the top right corner, there's a scroll bar that lets you zoom in and out. And these wolves are starting to appear at the edges of the woods. They are moving closer towards you guys, and they definitely look like they are about to attack.
Can I try to put them to sleep?
Yes. Here's a handout for the terrain, and I'm going to roll us initiative, so you guys will act in turn order. Rolling initiative gives us sort. One of the wolves is the fastest. It is going to creep through the woods, and you see that these guys have good ability to creep through the woods. They are not slowed by the undergrowth. It takes a dash action to get up to here. Elphaba, you are first.
Okay. Can I try and put him to sleep?
Yes. With the sleep spell?
Yes.
Yeah. Click
I think the sleep spell is area oriented.
Oh.
It is, yes. So you could try and hit these two down here, the snarling wolf and the...
Alternatively, you can nuke them with fire.
Oh. Well, I can try that too.
Whichever you'd like to do, just click...
Let's go with the fireball.
Okay. Which one would you like to attack?
The one that is closest to us, the gray patch wolf. Like to not be eaten.
So it is deep in the woods and has 3/4 cover, so it's going to have a bonus to its armor class.
Okay.
That means it's going to be harder to hit. And to roll your hit, just click the firebolt on your character sheet.
Okay. Did I not do that one? What?
Yeah, click on the words. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that didn't seem to roll a attack roll.
Oh, it didn't? Let me try again.
It rolled just the damage, but not the attack.
Oh.
Give me half a sec. Attack, spell attack, ranged. There we go. Now try firebolt again. A 6 is not enough. You hurl a bolt of fire straight into the tree in front of it. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn? So you can still move your speed if you want to move behind the beefier guys.
Yes, I will move.
All right. So yeah, you can click and drag your token wherever you'd like. And while you do that, the wolves are going to take their turns. One does a dash action, getting all the way up next to Pavu and Dalvin. The snarling wolf is going to try and flank around, while the tailless wolf dashes straight up forward.
Wonderful.
Pavu smiles and mentions
Pavu.
something about dinner.
It is your turn, Pavu.
Pavu is going to attempt to strike the gaunt wolf.
Okay.
Let's see here.
With
And then
longsword,
I'm just
I assume.
rolling longsword, correct?
Yes. You can do longsword one hand or two hand.
Okay. We're going to do two hand because we don't have a shield.
Makes sense. And 14 is enough. You, I guess, overhand swing. You guys have never seen Pavu fight. And it is a magnificent thing. It's so magnificent that it one hit kills this wolf.
I will shout in triumph. Roar!
You
and then I will move.
get like a good 6 inches into this wolf as it collapses.
And then I will move to head off this other wolf coming out of the brush.
Perfect. Delvin.
I wish to cast Bless.
Yes. Can you click the spell? 'Cause I forget what it does.
It lets me bless up to 3 creatures of my choice. Add on attack rolls.
Yeah, who would you like to do? Also, you're very quiet. I've got you boosted in Discord up to 200%, and I still can barely hear you. I'm pretty sure you're not getting your microphone.
Okay.
Probably getting the webcam sound.
Yeah. So I was going to do Pavu, Corvus, and Riven.
Pavu, Corvus, and Riven. So the 3 of you feel this holy energy coursing around you, and feel like you are going to be really good at hitting things.
Mm.
And I'll stay where I'm at.
All right. Corvus.
Okay, so I'm going to attack the tailless wolf?
Perfect. So roll me an extra d4. On the left-hand side of your screen, there's like this, there's the tools.
Yeah.
One of them looks like a d20.
Okay.
And if you hover over that, yeah, just a
Just
d4. And that brings your 7 to a 10, which is not enough. They are pretty dexterous.
Womp womp.
Yeah, you send out a punch or a kick, and he leaps back, and no luck. Anything else on your turn?
No, I'm gonna stay here.
I am going to put you back down from 100%, or from 200 to 100. Eric. All right. Corvus ends his turn. Rivan.
Yeah, how do I measure again how far I am from something?
So when you, on the left-hand side, there's a sort of circle with a ruler in it. You can click that, and it will bring up a ruler tool. Or you can click and drag your token, and right-click to sort of add waypoints.
Okay, so Snarling Wolf here. Let's see.
Yeah.
I will sing, and I'm not really going to sing, but I'll say, "Feeble thy mind when whispers unwind, and sanity trembles at a voice that resembles a nightmare forgotten, all crooked and rotten." So I'm casting dissonant whispers on that wolf. So let's see. Let me bring up the spell.
That roll the damage. Is it a
Say that again. I'm sorry.
is that a wisdom save? To
It
negate that?
is charisma save, I think. Oh, wisdom save. Sorry. Yes.
All right. It gets a 7 on its wisdom save. It has no idea what you're saying, but it freaks the fuck out.
3d6 psychic
13
damage.
psychic damage. It just opens its jaw and, well, dies. Just it is. It's done. It's gone. It has no idea what's going on and collapses, foaming at the mouth.
Remind me to never have you sing.
Yeah, you. By the way,
Oh, lullabies.
yeah, you. So you didn't hear the melody of that. You heard the words, but not the melody.
We must get this man a guitar.
I have a lute.
Anything else? Anything else on your turn?
No.
All right. So at the end of the round, another form comes through the woods. Corvus, you are the first to see this, and you realize your perception is so good that you realize that this wolf literally was not there a second ago.
Like it materialized.
It materializes into the woods about 5 feet away and starts walking up to the edge. And this wolf is about the size of a horse.
Do I need to roll to be
Oh, shite.
large?
Sorry, say that again. You need to roll enable to
Do
what?
I to be able to yell at the large man and have him hear me?
No,
About.
no, definitely not. You're
Okay.
10 feet away at most.
I'm gonna holler that at him then.
I respond with food, and then I yell directly at the gray patch wolf in challenge.
It is going to take that challenge and zigzag its way before it launches up and tries to take out your neck. Bite attack. It gets a 17 to hit.
Oof.
Clearly a miss.
That does 5 piercing damage to you. And I'd like you to make me a straight strength saving throw.
Strength.
It tries to rip your sort of skin and trip you and bring you to the ground, but you are 8 feet tall and are not having this shit. It tries to take you down and you brush it off like a fly. Alphaba.
I am
Yeah.
going to. Can I do the firebolt again?
Yes.
On
The Grey Patch Wolf is much closer now, and
Yes.
won't have as much cover.
Okay, perfect. Let's do that then.
23 hits it dead on. So you
Woo-hoo.
lob this ball of fire about the size of your fist over Pavu's head. 7 fire damage. Sears a good chunk of fur off of this wolf. There's this sort of bloody burn on the flank. Just as an aside, I have a API script that when a creature has less than 50 hit points, or less than 50%, they will start changing color. So that's why that wolf is kind of yellowy.
Okay.
Yeah, great hit. Anything else you want to do in your turn?
Nope, I'm good.
That makes it the snarling wolf, who continues to die. The tailless wolf is going to sort of sneak around flanking Corvus and tries to leap up and bite, getting a 15 to hit. What is your AC, Corvus?
It is. Let me scroll. 16.
16. You are a monk. I forgot that. Yeah, it leaps up and you do whatever a monk does. And
Very
In a-
monkey things.
in a monkish way, flash of light or flash of blur from your hands, you deflect the tailless wolf's bite. Which makes it Pavu's turn.
Can I take a free action to toss the knife to Delvin?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I take a free action to toss that knife to Delvin, and then I'm going to swing at this gray patch wolf. It's looking very singed, pitiful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a 10 is not enough.
All right. I'm
Any?
gonna take a 5-foot step there.
Okay.
Hold on. Before I do that,
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with hex movement. If I'm stepped there, and he steps away, will that provoke an opportunity attack?
Yes.
Okay.
If he steps away from you, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Then yes, I will.
Yeah.
Step back.
The opportunity attack rules are that if they leave your threat,
Okay.
they can move sort of within the threat, which is why you could move to that square without provoking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Delvin.
Oh wait, my bless wasn't on. What is the bless at for my to hit?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Roll me a d4.
D4.
Yes. I am so sorry.
Damn it!
Never mind. 11 does not work.
I was almost blessed enough.
You feel the blessings are there, but not doing much. Okay, Delvin, for realsies this time.
All right, so I've got a pocket knife, which I'm assuming it's not going to do a great deal of damage.
I think your mic is having troubles again. I'm sorry.
He says he's doing something with a knife.
I hear a knife.
He caught the knife.
Yeah, that's why I usually use my cam instead of my headphones.
You can definitely use it as an improvised weapon if you want to
Yeah,
shank.
Let me try. Yeah, I'll try to. I'll try to help out Pavu.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you
More
over
wolves.
He's gonna help out Pavu.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll move up forward and take a swing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh wow,
Hey,
you hit. You critically hit. However, you deal 1 point of damage with your critical hit because a crit just lets you roll 2 dice, and you, yeah.
Oh, so sad.
You guys see this cleric who has never probably used a knife in his life, just get a perfect strike.
That
But
was
only
only one roll though. There's only one roll in that little guy. It's 1d4 -1 +1.
yeah, that +1 is from the crit.
Okay, just the crit's not a second damage die roll.
It is. It's well, both of them are 1d4.
So when I hover over that, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So the first
yes,
one,
the first one
the
is
first
0.
one is a 0. Okay, now I'm with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to do in your turn?
no, that'll do it. If I move back, I know I'll provoke.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm done.
Revan.
Reven. Yeah. Let's see. I think. Let's see. I think I am going to do Bardic Inspiration on Pavu.
That's a good idea.
So.
Absolutely.
Let's see. It's on the main page. So.
Inspired.
Yeah, I've. So yeah, at one point in the next 10 minutes, you can roll a d6 as your bardic inspiration.
Okay.
So that's just a bonus action. You
Oh,
can still
yeah, that's
action.
true. Yeah, so let's see. The other one, I will. Let's see. My main action, I will. I guess I can use Bane on the 2 wolves that are in range. So I will do that, I think.
If you don't want to use spell slots, you could also use the aid another action to give someone advantage on a attack.
Okay, yeah, let me do that because I might want to use it on the big wolf when it comes in closer. So yeah, I'll let's see. I'm giving Pavu the Bardic Inspiration, so I'll aid Corvus.
Okay. To aid another, you have to be adjacent to whatever they're gonna attack.
So let's see. I will move there.
Perfect. And yeah, so how do you want to aid another? Like
Distracting it. Yeah, I'll basically be taunting it to try to get its attention.
Perfect. Corvus, it is your go. The tailless wolf is focusing its attention on Reven, so you have advantage on any attack roll.
So I'm just gonna try and punch it in the throat.
That's what you do to wolves. And you succeed. 4 damage punching the wolf, and it makes this like yelp as it struggles to breathe. It definitely looks like it is turned back on you. Anything else on your turn?
Nope.
All right. The dire wolf. So those of you who have, knowledge of nature and animals know that a dire wolf is kind of a big deal. It on its own would challenge all of you if you had like weapons and armor. It is actually just going to step forward, almost casually, as it seems to more observe you than anything. You're looking at it and you're like expecting it to be prowling or something, but it's almost like regal as it walks around, and it doesn't really do anything except approach. The Grey Patch Wolf, seeing this, howls in fury as it launches itself at Delvin.
Oh no.
It gets a 10 to hit.
Which is just enough.
Oh, shit.
It rolls pretty good and does 7 piercing damage.
Alright.
Ouch.
I am mortally wounded. Almost.
And I'd like you to make me a strength save.
Okay.
Oh.
Woo!
So you guys see this Grey Patch Wolf howl and then tackle Delvin in the chest. Delvin, you are knocked prone.
Okay.
You're using the knife wrong.
Hey, I hit it. Unfortunately, I hit it.
As an aside, just so you guys know, when you click your token, there's 3 circles that will appear that say like 8 and then 8 in green and then 10 in blue and then red is empty. If you click the green number and hit -7, it will auto-calculate your HP for you and your HP bars and everything.
Got it.
Oh no.
So you can see how red he is.
He sprayed something.
Elphaba, it is your turn.
Okay, I am gonna use the firebolt on the Grey Patch Wolf.
Perfect.
Let's see.
16 is definitely enough. 7 fire damage. Where do you aim this firebolt?
At the Grey Wolf.
I meant more like where on the wolf.
Oh, his head?
Yeah, for sure. And you hit dead on. You get this firebolt sort of in its mouth as it launches, probably trying to finish off Delvin.
Ah.
You get the firebolt in its mouth, and it dies, sort of landing on top of Delvin.
I can't get it off.
It's in my mouth. It's in my
Oh
mouth.
no.
Anything else in your turn?
Korean barbecue.
These are wusses,
No.
wolves of unusual size.
So, those of you who know animals know that wolves are typically fairly cautious hunters. If, you were to be attacked by 4 of them and 3 of them were killed, you'd think that the 4th one would run. This one does not. It's, who had just gotten punched by Corvus, is going to launch itself up and try and get at Corvus's throat.
No.
13 to hit. You deflect it.
Ninja.
Pavu. Pavu, it is your go.
You have blessed and bardic inspiration.
Pavu has something for the tailless wolf. How did it lose its tail, you ask? The same way it will lose its face.
Well, it lost its tail fighting another wolf, so...
Oh!
19 hits. 6 damage.
I'm going to use my bardic inspiration and apply it to my damage roll.
I don't think you can. I think it can only apply to the attack roll.
Attack. Bugger. All right. Does blessed affect damage as well, or just to hit?
Just the attack.
Okay.
You do take like a good 3-inch gash in its snout, but it's it's still alive. It is bleeding profusely, and by all accounts, it should run. But this wolf seems pretty damn hungry. Anything else on your turn?
No.
All right, Delvin, you can stand up as a. It takes half your speed.
Yeah. Yeah, I will stand up. Okay. And I'm in great pain. So I will. So the dire wolf is down the road.
Yes.
So the tailless wolf is the only thing currently in combat with us.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to move back and kind of just assess the situation and decide combat's probably not my thing. So.
Yeah. If you want, you can take the dodge action. Gives disadvantage.
I will. I'll do dodge. Yeah, yeah. Just in case something decides to jump my way.
Yeah, I mean, wolves seem to be appearing in these woods, so that's not a bad idea.
All right.
Revan, you can tell that the tailless wolf is barely hanging on at all.
Okay, I'll take an unarmed strike at it, I guess.
Perfect. You exactly reach its AC and exactly do the amount of damage needed to kill it.
And then I will do Bardic Inspiration as my bonus action on Corvus.
All right.
I get, I think, 3 of those.
Yeah, 3 per day or 3 per short rest? I forget.
Let's see. Regain any expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Ah, right. So any movement from you, or
no?
Are you good
I will
where you are?
stay there. Yeah.
All right, Corvus.
Alrighty. So, how far ahead can I move?
You can move 30 feet,
Okay.
and then a dash action to get. A dash action lets you take an extra 30 feet.
Let him come to us.
Yeah, if you want, you can ready an action. Essentially, when it gets within range, you take the attack action then.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Can I shift a little bit and ready, or do I have to stay where I'm at too?
No, you can move. Ready an action is just an action.
Okay.
So yeah, you can move wherever you like.
Yeah, so I'll go like right here and then.
Yeah, you're right next to Pavu.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the direwolf does not come to attack you. I don't know if that's fortunate or not unfortunate, but it simply grins. You guys have never seen a wolf grin, but it grins, and its eyes sort of, they're these dark black grayish eyes that look like wolves, and then for a moment they look human, and then for a moment the wolf turns into and disappears.
It turns into what and disappears?
Turns into
Turns
what?
into what?
Yeah.
Fog.
Turns into
Yes. Into
Oh.
mist.
Can I play? I don't know if Arcana or religion or nature. It
Yeah.
is.
Any of those would.
Let me do it nature, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that's disconcerting.
So your nature knowledge, wolves don't do that.
Do any wolf-like creatures?
What you know about nature is that there are certain types of undead that can turn into wolves.
Oh, I see.
And there are certain types of undead that can turn into mist. I would say that it's been.
So they're probably one and the same.
I'm not saying anything. I would say that it's been close enough since Pavu used his divine sense that your divine sense is still probably, it's falling off, but you can sense that this mist is undead.
So point forward and say that is an
but
undead beat.
It's
Can I
in the
still
next
track
like
it as it turns to mist? Where has it
not
gone?
really, because for a second it's clumped up enough that you can detect it, but it sort of fades away, disperses in the wind, and you can
Hmm.
tell that it sort of disperses in a way that feels very much like that sort of evil that permeates everything.
Mm.
So it's like a thickening of that feeling in a
Y-
space.
yes,
Okay.
though it essentially eventually disperses enough that it just feels like the normal level of doom around you.
I'm
Um,
hiding behind
Just the normal
Corvus and
amount of
Puppet.
doom.
And the
uh,
large man wanted to eat that.
Well,
as you look around and sort of survey the area, you see the four wolf corpses still there. They haven't changed, but there's no other signs of anything else. It is silent in these woods.
I'd suggest that if any of us has any sort of skills to treat these things, we might want to have them. Much as I don't exactly relish the thought of eating wolf, we might have to.
Let's heal the old man.
I think this is.
I said this was dinner.
Yeah. I
Um,
would not eat anything yet. This could be evil.
Yes.
And as to healing, yes, I would like to heal myself.
so yeah, if you want, you can use a healing spell, take a short rest, and roll your hit die, and gain that much healing.
Yeah, that sounds
So
good.
if you guys don't mind, the cleric taking an hour, a short rest takes an hour, and it lets him patch his own wounds.
Uh, am I able to also roll hit die and try and skin out at least one of these animals?
Yes, with the hunting knife, you can for sure.
Okay.
Probably not like well. You're not making like a couture like fur cloak, uh,
Very well.
but you can do it.
So I get
Uh,
5 points back.
Yes.
Is there a something to roll your hit die easily, or
Yeah, it's underneath your hit points. Underneath temporary hit points, it'll say hit die 1 of 1,
Mhm.
or and then that
Yeah,
word
click on the hit dice. Yeah, and it'll roll.
There we are.
Nice.
not bad. Do you
I'll
guys
take
mind if we take a 5 minute break?
Not at all.
Sounds perfect.
That'll
All
work.
right.
Beverage.
So to our viewers, if there are any, I'm not in the chat, so I have no if we are being watched. I will be back in 5 minutes, and I'll see you guys shortly.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
So as you guys finish, tell me, am I cool to continue?
Some
Yeah, so
reason the
I was
desktop
able
is-
to
There we go.
field dress one wolf. Was able to skin any more?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
Not with because patching yourself up with a rest is takes time on its own.
All right.
But you are massive, so you could probably just carry them on your shoulder. Because you've got that Goliath ability to have. You're treated as a large creature. You're basically a horse.
I'm not carrying nothing else currently.
That's true. No, they're
Yeah, I will carry the one that's field dressed, unless anybody else can carry a wolf.
Wolves are large.
Yeah.
Bah,
I
They
think-
are small.
puny
thought they were
humans.
Well,
don't think any
okay.
have,
In general, they're very large
high-
creatures.
I look down at the rest of the people I'm with. Bah. And
Yeah, I don't
I'll,
think anyone has the strength score.
I'd
higher
talk.
than 10.
I'd talk one of them into carrying itself, but it's a little dead at the moment.
all right, I will carry the one I've scanned and one other.
Okay. Yeah, it's at the speed you're moving. It's not too difficult. You guys continue down this road until you reach this point where the mist sort of clears just a little bit, and the trees part. You can see the sky for the first time, and it is looks like it is going to rain very hard very soon. And the trees part and open up into what looks to be a massive grassy field. All of the grass is either dead or dying, and everything more than like 200 feet is just a wall of fog.
Well, we're going to be wet. We can be wet and walking, or wet and sitting still.
What's a little water? I mean, Moonshay Isles, this is like every day.
I'm thirsty anyway.
Yes, we must find shelter.
Bah,
The,
shelter.
It's still fairly early in the day, probably 9 or 10 in the morning, at your best guess. The road itself is pretty hilly. You follow it along for another, like, 15 minutes. And you crest a hill, and you see off in the distance what appears to be a single little townhouse. With a little road, like a little driveway. Not driveway, it's Tennessee. Driveway going up to this little house just on the hill. And as you peer down, Corvus notices that there are two little kids, probably about 5 and 8, standing at the crossroads of this driveway and the road you're walking on. They are probably about 200 feet in front of you. And they are staring off into the distance in the opposite direction that you guys are approaching them.
What?
Also,
What
there's
are
some
they?
kind of really weird.
Somebody have a
there's
bird?
a weird chirping.
Harry.
Oh, that's Katie's.
Really? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I came in.
we agree.
Pat was on top of the computer.
Oh no.
Everything cool? Just a quick recap. You guys walk down the road. The trees open up. Big grassy field. You have found a townhouse with a sort of again, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but fantasy driveway.
Walkway.
Going up to this townhouse. Walkway. There you go. And at the corner of this this walkway and the path that you're on is two children, about 5 years old and 8 years old, and they are staring off in the opposite direction,
Can we
down the road.
can we tell what they're staring at?
No, you can only barely see them through the mist as it is.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy and make my voice very loud. Say, "Hello."
The kids audibly gasp. Even from this far away, you hear them, and they jump, turning to see you. They sort of just stand where they are. Though Corvus, you can tell that on their little child faces, they are terrified.
I'll approach and like hands, outstretched in peace. We mean you no harm. We're looking for shelter.
You
I look
see
over at
that.
Corvus and say they're clearly scared of you.
So as an aside, the art style in this book is very strangely tinted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to show you a picture, and it looks like they have purple skin. These kids do not.
So they're not
just-
suffocating.
They're not suffocating.
We're definitely on a different
Spawn.
plane.
So as you approach, they look. You note that they have sort of almost noble clothing. They look definitely well off. The girl is 9 years old, and there's her little brother is sort of cowering behind her, clutching a little doll in his hands. They look like this.
Drama.
Again, they don't have purple skin. That's just everything in this art book is tinted purple.
Interesting.
Greetings, lad and
little
lassie.
Are they a bit gray?
They are kind of gray. They're very pale. They have very sort of like they have not seen the sun in a long time. But they don't say anything as you approach.
Is it
What
still
do you say to
overcast and cloudy?
Yes, absolutely. It looks like it's about to rain any second now. Sorry, did Delvin, when you walked up, did you say something to them?
No, I did not. I think it was
Sorry,
Reven.
Reven.
Yeah, Reven. Yes, I'm walking up and saying,
Reven.
"Hi, lad and lassie. I'm Reven. What are your names?"
The little boy looks terrified and isn't going to say anything. But the girl is also kind of terrified, but she's putting out a brave, sort of bossy face, standing in front of her brother to protect him. And she says, I am Rosavalda Durst, and this is my brother, Thornbolt.
What is a pleasure to meet the both of you.
State your names,
I
she says.
am Reven Antalis. These are my companions.
I am Delvin.
Good to meet you.
I'm
She's
Elphaba.
trembling.
Didn't really.
I just grunt.
Thorn,
Yeah.
there's nothing to be afraid of, lad. We're not here to harm you. We're just weary travelers. As a matter of fact, we came upon some wolves in the wood headed here, and my large friend aptly demonstrates. But we're just looking for some shelter, if you've got any.
The little boy is looking up at Pavu right now, with just mouth agape. He has never seen someone who is so big and so covered with wolves.
I have one as he looks at me.
Not a large man.
Rose.
I say
Rose
dinner.
says to you. Rose says to you. Mother and father would probably let you stay at our place, but they haven't come home yet.
Oh dear. I mean, are
They're
they
still
away?
in-
They away for
They're still
long?
in town.
Hmm.
And they point
In
down the
town?
road. There's town down there, and
Down the road.
they haven't come back. They didn't come back last night. And now there's a wolf, or sorry, not a wolf. Now there's a monster in our house.
A monster. What sort
Yeah,
of monster?
It keeps howling. It's in our basement, but we don't know where. We don't know how to. We don't. Sorry. It's in the basement, but we don't know what it looks like.
How did it get in the basement?
Mom and Dad keep it there.
Interesting.
Can I do
The
insight?
monster only
So,
there when your parents are gone.
Sorry. Say that again.
Is
Uh,
the monster only there when your parents are gone?
They kind of look at each other and say, "No, The monster usually roars when they have friends over, but no one's home now.
I'm gonna roll insight to see if I mean, are they like truly afraid, or are they putting on an act?
Yeah, so insight is one of those things that I'm rolling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you roll
Uh,
secretly. Ignore that.
I mean, I will tell you that I rolled better than you.
All right.
It seems actually they seem like normal children. The girl is pretty precocious, and she seems like she's too brave for her own good. But you don't sense any deception. You don't sense any. Yeah, you don't sense any like strange. This is vampires or anything like that.
Okay. Perhaps we should help these poor children and stay in shelter for the night.
Perhaps we should go to town and find their parent who can take care of them.
Were your parents supposed to be back by now?
They were supposed to be back last night. We tried to go, but we can't
if
go
we take
through
care of your problem?
Yeah, there's a lot of guest rooms. We tried to go to town, but the fog is too thick.
Good enough for me.
We'll help you.
There's servants' quarters. They point to this sort of smaller building adjoining the, and they say, "There's servants' quarters there. There might be some things in there you can use."
Wonderful. Yes. I'll start walking there. I'm ready to get dry.
The little sort of side room, a side house, has a front door and then an adjoining sort of barn door. It looks like a stable, like a wagon house. The wagon house is shut with chain and a padlock, but it looks like the door to the servants' quarters is untouched or unlocked.
Okay. All right.
I would like
Can I hear
to
anything
examine the
Locked door?
chain and lock. Yeah.
You can't hear anything in. Actually, you can't hear anything in the house or the servants' quarters.
I'm just going to walk into the servants' quarters, by the way.
Yeah. So in the servants' quarters, it looks. It's more like a groundskeeper place. There is just a bed. It's very dusty. A bed, a little table, like a single set of cutlery. And give me half a sec because I can't find my handout.
It's okay, Delvin's already passed out on the bed.
Bed.
So yeah, this is a bed. It has wolf furs on top of it, and a woolen blanket.
Very, very soft.
It's very soft. Woolen blanket underneath, but you can tell that the hay that that the bed is made out of is starting to go off. The straw is like going moldy. In this room, you do look around. You see some things that are interesting. You see, when you walk in, just to your left, there is hanging on the wall a very ornate-looking dagger. It's a kukri.
Oh, okay.
And you also see a light crossbow with a small little pouch that has 6 crossbow bolts in it.
Okay. Is there anybody else that's inside with me, or is it just myself? Because if not, I'll say, guys, we have there's some weapons in here that you might be interested in.
Yeah, it looks like no one has been in here in a really long time. Quite a few, like, months.
I think.
If there's dust, yeah.
Does anyone else enter?
I think before I go in, I'm going to spend some time befriending the children, disarming them, using my bardic charms and what have you to ingratiate myself to them.
I'm examining this other side door, looking for something I can more easily force entry through besides the door, but failing that, I'm going to try and force entry through the chain and lock.
So I'll start. Delvin, you entered the house. You can see that inside there is a door that goes into the stable, and it's ajar.
Okay. I'll just peek inside.
And you can see that Pavu is like shaking these chains, and you can see the door that he's shaking. So you can tell him
Okay.
just to walk around.
I'll come around through here.
Very well.
So
I'll bring the wolves in with me.
No.
some other things that were in that little bedroom as you search around. Or actually, sorry, I didn't ask you if you searched around.
I did. Yes. Sorry. I would have assumed it. Yeah.
Tucked behind the bed, there is a small, crudely carved wooden holy symbol, which you recognize.
Ooh.
At first, you think this is a symbol of Lathander, the god of like sun and stuff. But then you realize that there's little differences. Rather than being like just a full sunburst, it looks like a sunburst sort of going above the clouds. You're not sure. You've never recognized this symbol, but it.
I will hang on to it.
Yes, Lathander adjacent. There's also a small metal hand mirror and a small hand bell.
Okay. take-
Reven.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Reven, the two kids are a little nervous of you. They're just sort of not saying anything and just sort of staring in the space next to you, giving you the occasional glance. The boy is trembling visibly.
I am going to use all of my bardic charms. I'm going to weave them a story that I am a traveling nobleman from the Moonshay Isles, and that we were waylaid on the road to this place by brigands who stole our possessions, and we managed to get away with our lives and only a few meager possessions, and that we were then waylaid by wolves, and you know that.
Tell them the whole
shebang. With embellishments.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that the kids seem pretty damn impressed. They are hanging on to every word, and they're at first they're nervous, but make me either a persuasion or a performance check, and I'll give you advantage because they are loving it.
Okay. Either one is the same bonus, so
15. Not terrible. This is, you can tell that you're weaving that people would pay money to listen to you. These kids are just like, wow, you guys must be amazing. And you said he killed 4?
Aye, it was an impressive sight.
Wow, I've never seen a direwolf, and I can't believe you kicked the direwolf in its nuts.
It howled and ran.
They're adding their own embellishments to the story.
Sure, I'll encourage it.
There's your bard inspiration.
And I'll kind of insinuate as I'm talking with them that servants' belongings are a little beneath me as a nobleman. Not overtly, just kind of subtly insinuating that clothing as befits a nobleman might be appropriate if they have that to spare, because of course appearance is important.
Yeah, I would say that with your performance, they like you enough that they're like, oh yeah, in the closets, Dad has tons of cloaks and tons of suits and stuff. You could definitely take some of them.
I thank you for that.
They've probably got some swords and stuff on the walls.
Excellent. Well, of course, at some point in time, you might want to come visit the Moonshay Isles, and I'll of course return the courtesy.
I've never heard of Moonshay Isles.
It's a glorious place. Dancing, it's a wondrous place. Art is like none you've ever seen before.
Well, you should see Barovia. It's a city with people. I think I saw some art. It was 2 circles and then a large circle, and it was drawn on a wall.
Interesting.
And it was pointing in a direction next to the whorehouse. Corvus and Alphaba, what are you guys doing right now?
I am cautiously going to enter the house. I'm not quite sure of these children.
Okay.
So I followed Delvin, and I'm kind of just a little bit, and once he's found what he found, I'm like gently trying to guide him towards the dusty bunk bed.
Okay, to rest or
Yeah.
To rest.
Yeah. Old bones.
so those of you who are inside the house, or inside the servants' quarters, you can see there's a closet and the doors that go to the stable.
I've gone on into the stables.
Okay.
I am following into the stables.
So the stables themselves look like they're there to hold a wagon. There's no like space for a horse. Pardon me. But there are a few things here. There's no wagon, and there's no like carriage or anything. There's 3 loops of hemp rope. There's an anvil that has a set of smith tools surrounding it, as well as 4 horseshoes, a block and tackle, and on the walls you see a few things like a crowbar, a whip, a spade, a rake, and some empty glass bottles that smell of rotten milk.
Delicious.
And I will paste that to the chat so you guys can...
Perfect. I'm gonna... The only one with a backpack here. I'm gonna shove 2 of those lengths of rope into the backpack.
Okay.
Should we add this?
Sorry,
Real
go
quick,
ahead.
should we add anything that we'll take to our equipment list?
Yes. So the kukri is essentially a dagger that you increase to a d6.
Yeah, I'm not taking that.
The light crossbow you can just drag from the compendium, and everything else you mostly have to add it manually, except for the whip. The whip is also a weapon.
Actually own a kukri.
They're cool.
So, Delvin, when you found this holy symbol and the hand mirror and the handbell, did you take those?
Yes. Yeah, I went ahead and picked those up.
I was going to say the mirror and the bell for sure.
You find that in the handbell, it's muffled. There seems to be a piece of cloth shoved up inside this bell.
Yeah, I'll take that out and kind of examine the cloth.
It looks to be a blood-stained handkerchief. The bell itself has a small, I have no idea what it's called, the little dangly bit, seems to be bent.
Clapper, I think.
It's
Clapper.
still works.
Okay.
But it's kind of damaged.
I'll kind of ring it just to hear what it sounds like.
Ding.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Got it.
It sounds like a handbell.
How about the hand mirror? Is it finely made?
It's pretty. It's pretty mundane. It's made of steel. There's a few scratches on it. It's not particularly good. Seems like it's more just for like shaving than anything.
I got you. Okay.
So yeah, there's still the closet. If you guys want to check.
In the smith's tools, is there a hammer?
Yes. The smith's tools is actually an artisan kit. You can drag that from the compendium as well. And if anyone's trained in smith's tools, that's a thing.
Is anybody trained in smith's tools?
Knife?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take the hammer.
I will check the closet.
Wait, taking the what?
I was going to say I'll check the closet.
Okay. So in the closet, you notice that there is a little string hanging from the top of the closet door, right on the inside, as if a bell could hang there and jingle whenever the door opened. But there's no bell.
Hmm.
In the closet, you
Wonder
notice.
where the bell is.
In the closet, you see 3 sets of what appear to be fairly big man's clothes, commoner clothes. Whoever it is seems to be not as big as Pavu, but bigger than the rest of you. There's also a backpack, an empty water skin, 2 bear traps, a set of weaver's tools, and 4 rolls of twine. And I will paste that to the chat as well. Actually, you know what?
Okay.
I'm going to just put the whole handout. Because, yeah.
Would the hammer from the blacksmith's tools count as a light hammer?
No, it would be more like an improvised weapon.
Okay.
A light hammer is bigger than. It's sort of tailored for combat, whereas this is more tailored for a forge.
Okay.
At least I think. I'm not 100% sure. I would definitely let it use as an improvised.
Okay.
So because I'm following, he opens the closet. I reach over his shoulder, out a pair of the commoner's clothes, and begin to change.
Okay.
I've picked up the 2 of the links, the rope, and the block and tackle.
Okay. So I'll Pavu 2 lengths of rope and block and tackle.
I've added them to my inventory.
Okay, I'm just checking so everyone knows. And that was Corvus who got the common clothes? Common clothes?
Yeah. Yeah, there's only 3 sets. I need a pair. And maybe a monk.
They're baggy though, right?
They're pretty baggy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, are we in just kind of rags?
Basically, yeah. Burlap sack type clothing.
Yeah, I guess baggy clothes is better than these. So yeah, I'll change into a set as well.
Okay. So common's clothes are in the compendium. You can drag those in.
Okay. And I'll take a roll of twine as well.
Okay. The twine itself.
Oh, can't hear you.
Oh,
missed all that. All second half of
The
that.
twine itself.
Oh, is weightless.
Okay.
It's small enough that it's weightless. Sorry about that.
Is that whip a reach weapon?
It is, I think. Let me check
the whip.
Whips are yes. Whip is a 1d4 slashing finesse reach. So dexterity people could use it well.
Sean, is that in your wheelhouse?
Does it count as a simple weapon?
I don't think so.
Probably not then.
Finesse.
But I think I'm going to take care of armaments. So.
Okay. It's a martial weapon.
I'm making a handout and trying to find that handout. There we go.
Oh, you can use either strength or dex for your mod.
If nobody else can take the bear traps, I'm going to take those as well.
Yeah, I think in the compendium they're called hunting.
You're breaking up again. They're called what now?
I think in the compendium they're called hunting. They're called hunting traps.
Okay.
I don't know what my connection is doing. I'm sorry, guys.
Unacceptable.
So yeah, if there's anything else, I assume you guys, with that backpack, can collect basically everything. If you guys want, that spade and that rake can both be used as improvised weapons, if you just want to have something. But otherwise, there seems to be nothing else of interest in this in this room.
The spade, would that be a simple reach weapon?
The rake would be a simple reach weapon. The spade, I would say, is too short.
Hand, yeah.
And nowhere have I found any paper, any writing implements.
No, unfortunately.
I don't think so.
One of the backliners might take a reach weapon.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea.
I can go here if you want it.
Like you say again?
I've never really used a crossbow. Someone might need to show me.
You pointed at the thing you want to die.
I'll point it without a bolt, like this.
Babu shakes his head and leaves the room. Silly man.
So the house, like the
Yes.
noble estate, it looks like this. It is 4 stories. On the 3rd floor, you can see both on the front and the back of the house, there's a little patio type deal. And the front gates is ajar, leading to a small little cozy portico. From where you can see, all of the windows look like they have blinds drawn.
Is the portico closed?
It's ajar.
Okay.
And
Wait.
I can actually...
It's like cracked open.
Yeah, cracked open. It is not literally as...
We can see that whole map. I don't know if that's intentional.
That is absolutely not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know.
Are you serious, Roll20?
I think they're serious.
Um,
You can take that map. Or
Give
not the
me-
map, the whip.
Alphaba would like to take the whip.
there. Is
Yes.
that better?
Now we can only see the front.
So, just so you know, this is a story house. Luckily, everything important is hidden. So
Good thing that happened.
you black out for a second, and you think you see the entirety of the house up in front of you. I'm really sorry.
I've had a vision.
Roll20 has been doing some really weird updates recently, so I'm sorry. I should have caught that beforehand.
I didn't look enough at it to have picked anything up anyway, so...
It was blocking my screens.
All right. So yeah, you guys are down here on this first floor. The kids. Rose sort of says, "Should we come with you?"
Oh, yes,
And
please.
The little boy Thorn is like, "No, I'm not going in there." And Rose is like, "Thorn, you're being unreasonable." And no, the monster's gonna eat me, and he's gonna eat Walter.
I'm gonna look down at the boy, and kind of loom a little bit and say, "What is the monster?" I'm gonna try and make an
You've never seen
intimidation
it.
check to
Yeah, absolutely.
get a little bit more information from these kids.
And who is Walter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, who is Walter? Is it his doll?
Walter is
Oh,
not his doll.
Mm.
He says he has never seen the monster. It howls like a wolf. It comes from the basement, and your intimidation makes him defile his pants.
God, I didn't want to do this tonight.
His, Rose says that Walter is still upstairs. He's
What
our
is
little
Walter?
brother. He's just a baby.
Well, we'll take care of you, lad. Don't
I've
worry
been
about
taking
it.
care of him all night, but I left him there when we ran out of the.
Well, I'll go
What-
up with you to get him if you want, but if I can get re-equipped, it would be certainly helpful in dealing with the monster.
I don't think Thorn will go back inside. I should stay out with him.
Well, that's
I'm gonna
fine.
drop the wolves.
If you can
Tell them to guard those.
if you can direct me where I need to go to get the sword you talked about and the clothing.
They just point to the front door and say, it's all on the ground floor.
All right, thank you, lad and lassie.
What time of day is it?
At this point, about noon.
About noon, eh?
Yes.
Well, enter the house.
I don't want to go in the house. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just as happy sitting outside and meditating today.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
enter the house.
Yeah, I will too. I don't believe
I'm
that
going to
the
stay
monsters
outside with the
exist.
young boy because I know he doesn't want to go.
well, we know the
Okay.
monster, whatever it is apparently in the basement. So if we can secure that entryway, then we at least know that the rest of the house should be secure.
They're small
Baby
children.
is
There's no
also
monsters.
He has defiled himself. He is all. What's
Yeah, your perception, you feel kind of bad that you can smell it. So, well,
I'm out.
so do the five of you head into the house?
Yes.
So the archway of the stone portico, the wrought iron gate,
Is
screeches.
Corvus
when it
coming
opens.
with us?
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said you were out.
No, I'm staying outside with the kids.
Okay. So the four of you head forward into this portico. Oil lamps hang from the ceiling by chains, flanking a set of oaken doors that open to a grand foyer. I presume one of you opens the front door.
I will open the front door.
As you step into this hallway, you see a entrance foyer. Ignoring the shiver that runs down your spine, the hallway is sort of silent and brooding. You find yourself in an immaculate foyer decorated with portraits and heraldries. A family of stony-faced aristocrats watch you with disinterest. The plaque on the frame reads "The Dursts" in dull gold lettering. On the eastern wall, you see a shield emblazoned with a coat of arms, a golden windmill on a red field. Mahogany framed doors lead deeper into the manor.
Is the shield functional?
Yes.
I take it from the
It's-
wall.
Yeah, it's fully functional.
Hmm.
All of the straps on the back.
Should you be doing that?
Although the kids gave us full access to everything here. They said we should equip ourselves. I mean, all the better to fight the monster with. We're helping them out.
Besides, there's no one here. Parents are gone.
It is perfect. By the way, this entrance portico looks like it is spotless. There's no dust. The floor is well oiled. The hinges on the doors are like perfect. Looks like it was cleaned like 10 minutes ago.
I'm gonna put my hand on Delvin's shoulder and say, apparently the customs here are, if once you're offered hospitality, it would be insulting to them to not accept it. So yes, they absolutely said take our leave.
Oh, very well. Okay. Strange place.
Yeah. Do you guys head into the
Yep.
next room?
Absolutely.
I'm going to make sure I'm positioned toward the front of the group as we move forward.
Okay. You're positioned more in the front, and Delvin and Reven probably closer to the rear. You're not sure, but you feel as you leave this foyer that the stony-faced aristocrats are watching you leave. You enter into the main hall. It is almost breathtaking. In the gloom beyond the foyer, the main hall glitters. The wood-paneled walls are ornately carved with idyllic scenes of frolicking nymphs and satyrs. At one end of the hall, there is a sweeping red marble staircase that climbs up to unknown heights. And at the other end, there is a black marble fireplace, cold and unlit. Mounted above the mantel shelf is a longsword with a windmill cameo worked into the hilt.
There we go. I'll take that down. Okay, go ahead.
As you enter in, music floats down the stairs. It is a harpsichord.
Hmm.
It's all
Baby
right
brother.
playing. It starts and stops. Sections are oft repeated, this time with gusto. Whomever is playing the instrument clearly is a novice. Sorry. Rivan, you took the longsword?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is almost razor sharp.
Okay.
There are the little white rectangles on the map indicate doors. So there are quite a few doors leading off this room. This set right here, the sort of second door to the left, is what appears to be a small closet. Otherwise, every other door leads to another room.
Anything in the closet?
Yeah. Do you peek inside?
I do.
I'd like to examine the fireplace.
So the closet, you open it up. It is stocked with several black cloaks, and someone has left a top hat on the high shelf.
Yeah, for the time being, although it's not my style, I will take the top hat and the cloak, and looking for other accoutrements to dress myself appropriately.
I will also take a cloak.
Yeah, there's enough for there's like 10 cloaks here, as well as a few cloaks for children.
Are they uniform, or are they all kind of different styles and looks?
Slightly different styles. They're all pretty similar in that they're black and fairly plain, though they're not like identical.
Okay.
And when you inspected the fireplace?
Pavu inspected the fireplace.
So you can see there is there's wood inside the fireplace, ready to burn. It looks dry and well tindered. But as you're inspecting this, you look at the craftsmanship of the walls adjacent to it, and soon realize that the nymphs and satyrs lie between serpents and skulls woven into the design. You think it might be metaphorical.
I call over the old man.
Yes. What is this?
There's something strange in this iconography.
Okay. Can I do
Perception or?
Well, I was thinking maybe religion. I don't know.
Religion check, absolutely.
Okay. You want me to do it? Roll?
Yeah, roll me one.
Okay.
So what you could tell is pretty good that this has no religious significance.
Okay. It's merely...
You're very certain of it.
I'm quite certain that this is really just fine design.
I'd like to feel around a little bit more, see if there's any hidden catch.
Yeah, in investigating around, you don't find anything that seems untoward or secret door like. Just checks out pretty normally. On the walls around you, there are none of them are lit, but they look like they can be detached from the walls.
I'm sorry, you cut out. What was on the wall?
Oh, sorry, oil lamps.
Okay, thank you.
Torches can be pulled.
Yeah, they can be pulled off the wall.
They have oil in them.
They do.
Any chance I could hold one of those while holding a shield in the same hand?
Yes, I'd say so.
Then I'm going to use that. Yeah, I have a flint and tinder in my pack. I'm going to take it out and light at least 2 of those lamps.
Yeah, they. So sorry, you're going to light them on the wall?
No, I'm going to light 2 of them, and one of them I'm going to take down.
Okay. Yeah. Easy and fashionable. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Yeah, it works out.
I'm radiant.
Fancy.
So, out of idle curiosity, since I've known satyrs. Do these look like actual satyrs, or were they depicted by people who knew what satyrs were and that didn't necessarily know them personally, what they looked like?
Exactly. You're getting that feel. This is more like a metaphor of a satyr than anything.
Gotcha. Just idle curiosity on my part.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
the craftsmanship is really good, but it doesn't look like he's actually.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'm going to. I assume. Well, there's a door over here as well. What is this like a little entranceway to two other rooms? Does it look like, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say let's maybe start here, and look in that room.
Heading into this room, it's actually a dining room.
Ah.
There is a dazzling crystal chandelier hanging above glittering above the dining room, watching over 8 empty chairs. They are high-backed and cushioned with velvet. The velvet matches the silken drapes covering the windows. Like the hall, the walls are ornately covered with elegant images of deer flitting among the trees. The table is all set with silverware polished to a dazzling shine.
Something here is not right. Where are the servants?
How's the table arranged? I mean, is there food on there? Has it not been touched?
Yeah, no food. It looks as if someone has set the table and would be serving within a couple minutes. Like, it looks ready to serve. Though there's no food.
Anything?
I also forgot there is a tapestry depicting hunting dogs and horse-mounted aristocrats on the eastern wall.
How large is that tapestry?
It about 10 to 15 feet long. It's bolted on the wall with an iron.
Okay.
And actually, now that you notice the wood on the other side, you notice that the etchings in the wood on this side, they have twisted faces carved into the tree trunks, and wolves are lurking in the shadows, ever ready to snap at the unsuspecting doe. And it's about this point where Corvus, you're watching these kids. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking at all. I'm just observing, making myself as inconspicuous as possible to let them go about their normalness.
So they're just watching down the road, trying to ignore you, though they keep glancing over to you with nervousness. And you're peering into the fog, and noticing that the fog's down the road seems to be getting thicker, and thicker and thicker and closer to you guys. And that is when you notice that the kids are gone.
And it's at that point that I pursue into the house.
As you get to the front door, you notice that the is starting to close in around you guys and is almost opaque in that it's like pressing in. You can only see 50 feet and then 30 feet and then 10 feet.
And then I look for a lock when I'm on the other side of the door.
Yeah, the door has a lock. As you presumably turn it, the fog presses up into the windows of this door, and only a tiny little trickle pushes through the crack between the doors. You can no longer see outside.
Still turn around and pursue my compatriots.
Yeah, you can see them straight there. You, your massive perception, instantly notice that all of the wood paneling in this house is bizarre and twisted and weird.
Could have told you that before I went into the house, but okay.
So yeah, you guys are in this dining room. The silverware looks like it's pretty expensive. And the chandelier, if you were to somehow sell it, would be worth like thousands of gold. Though that's something you would need some way to carry.
If there was only a wagon in the wagon house.
Am I
Or a
am I
giant.
with my compatriots?
Yes, yeah, you can see them. They've
Okay,
opened the
I
door.
advise them what I've witnessed in base.
You're
Sorry, you
cutting
cut
out.
out there.
Yeah.
I said I tell my friends what I've seen from the outside. The kids disappear.
Lovely.
Kids disappeared.
That's not natural.
So
Perhaps
I
they.
told you those kids were creepy.
the windows in this room are covered in
Can we
this-
shuffle the? Hold on. Can we shuffle the audio channel again?
Did,
Oh,
did they
yeah.
go around?
I'm getting some massive issues with the server, so I'm going to change the server. U.S. Central. Sound
Okay.
off?
Here.
Here.
Pavu.
That sounds much better.
Oh yeah, that is much better. But the ping on the last one was 170 something.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, this one is 75 for me. Anyway, yeah, the windows are covered with silk. And Corvus tells you guys that the kids disappeared and the fog has sort of surrounded the door.
Lovely.
Well,
I
we're
presume
here.
that's what you're saying.
Let's explore.
I couldn't really
Let's
hear.
quickly look for weapons and armor and what have you. The dining room is not likely to equip us as we need to be. So let's go over here and open that door. She did tell us that the stuff we're looking for is down here, so...
You enter into a small kitchen. This is, like the rest of the house, spotless. There's dishware, cookware, utensils neatly placed on shelves. There's a cutting board and a rolling pin. Behind the stove... oh, sorry. Lost somebody? We lost Katie.
Yes, we did.
Give her a couple seconds, see if she comes back.
Yes.
In the meantime, I'll describe the kitchen. There's a small bread oven, stone and dome shaped. It looks spotless, though it smells like freshly baked bread. Behind the stove and to the left is a thin door that seems to lead to a pantry. And you can see in the bottom corner there is a very small, like it's only a foot wide door, set into the wall about like 3 feet up,
Like a dumb,
like a dumbwaiter.
dumbwaiter, yeah.
Dumbwaiter, yeah.
Though it is shut tight.
I'll check the pantry to see if there's some maybe food up in there.
I'm gonna examine
yeah.
the dumbwaiter.
The pantry is indeed full of food. It is well stocked. There's barrels of like potatoes, apples, a number of dried meats, dried foods, rice. They have a spice rack, but they're out of pepper. But everything else is like fresh. Nothing is like pre-cooked, but if any of you had cooking tool proficiency or even just a wisdom score higher than 10, you'd be able to do it. We lost someone else.
Hold on a second. That was weird. Am I here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Huh.
It looks like we have lost Lindsay.
Yep.
Kate's back.
Kate is not back,
No?
and you are out of channel now.
Me?
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
You want to go back up? No, cancel that. Oh, she called
I'll,
you.
I'll try to gather some dried goods.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, you can get apples and enough
Yeah.
dried stuff.
just to kind of supplement the day's ration
Okay. And
for
Uh,
another
so-
day.
yeah, exactly. Someone said they're checking the
Yep.
dumbwaiter.
Pavu was, yes.
Yeah, I'm checking the dumbwaiter. Hold on just a second.
Sure. Oh, roll 20. Audio problems.
Yeah.
Me and you are. So we need to get out of this.
Okay, yes, I'm examining the dumbwaiter.
Okay. So we need to get out of this.
So the dumbwaiter is 2 foot wide stone shaft. There's a wooden elevator box that is at this level, and it looks to go up to the 3rd floor with a small little bell attached to the dumbwaiter.
So I go back into this one? Okay.
Hold on a second.
No worries.
Oh,
There she is. There.
hello.
Hello.
I'm back. Okay.
No Katie though.
I gotta walk her through it.
I'm gonna use a table to block this shaft up.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like only a child could really fit inside.
Yeah, there's a
But
couple of those missing.
makes sense. Yeah, with a man of your size, you can push and pull this table and block it off. Pretty sturdy. You don't think a child could get it out.
Okay.
And yeah, you gather up some food, some rations. I will figure out exactly how much rations between the sessions.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise, with Corvus's skills, you guys don't think there's really any other rooms, secrets in this kitchen.
Okay. Looks like the next step is to go upstairs. I don't see any other.
There's one more door.
Oh, where? Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay, yeah, let's go check that one out.
Hello?
Hello?
Please proceed.
There we go. Awesome.
That was fucking ridiculous. I'm so sorry. I'm such a noob.
No problem. So, quick.
We found
run-through.
rations.
We found rations. The kitchen. The kitchen's empty, and you enter into a what appears to be a hunting den. The first thing you notice are 3 wolves prowling around the room, but then you notice that they are stuffed.
Oh.
I'm gonna strike the one closest to us anyway.
It falls out, or it falls apart.
I'm gonna go hit the other 2.
Yeah, they are stuffed, and you can see seams. I don't know anything about stuffing animals, taxidermy, but you can see that these are taxidermied.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Out of the darkness looms wolves, their snarls frozen forevermore. A stag's head is mounted above the unlit fireplace. Fine chairs draped in furs face the hearth, with a cask of wine and a pipe rack on the table between them. The goblets are dry and empty. The wax has melted over the candelabrum, leaving little white islands on the table, and 2 cabinets line the walls. In one darkened corner of the room, there is a chandelier hanging over a cloth-covered table.
Check out this cabinet first.
So that cabinet appears to be locked. There is just a tiny little keyhole.
So I have thieves' tools, and I don't have. I guess I didn't take. I have proficiency. I don't have the thieves' tools.
If you had thieves' tools, you would be great at it.
Okay, can I go get some utensils and use them as improvised thieves' tools?
Yes. I would say running to the kitchen, grabbing
Like a
some
fork.
stuff. You'd have disadvantage.
Yeah, I
but-
figured as much.
I'm going to examine that table while he's doing that.
Yeah. So roll me thieves' tools in the left side, sort of underneath everything. You can just click the proficiency itself.
Okay, and that's dexterity for that, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, it's a dexterity.
Can someone else with thieves'
well.
tools?
Nice.
So with a fork and a knife, you just shimmy this lock open.
You've done that before.
No,
so
no,
inside,
never. Beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck, yeah. I've never broken into anything in my life. So the locked cabinet has a heavy crossbow, a light crossbow, a hand crossbow, and 3 packs of crossbow bolts.
I will take the hand crossbow and bolts, unless somebody wants one of the other crossbows.
I've got one of the light crossbows still. I could take some more bolts.
Pavu, the heavy crossbow bolt might be somewhat of your style if you need it in a fight.
Yes, that would not hurt my feelings. Does that qualify as a martial weapon?
Yes, I believe.
And you said there's 20 bolts for each weapon, correct?
Yes. There's 3 packs of 20 bolts.
Okay.
So you can
20 bolts.
Yeah,
okay.
20 bolts for each weapon. So 3. Okay. There's 60 bolts in total. So the bard took the hand crossbow.
I did. And I'm just putting standard. I put a standard long sword. I put a standard hand crossbow. If there's anything else, I leave it to you to track that. But
yeah, there's nothing mechanically different. And you can add 20 bolts as well.
Okay.
So does anyone want this light crossbow?
I'm good.
I will take it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have an extra
Doesn't
thing
hurt.
just in case you fight something that's immune to fire.
This is true.
So the cloth covered table that Pavu is inspecting looks like a card table. There's a couple stains of wine etched into the table itself, but otherwise it looks unimpressive.
I'm gonna pull the cloth.
You think that if there was anything on top of the table, it would still be there as you pull the cloth.
Nailed it.
So yeah, there's the other cabinet, and that's pretty much everything you see in here.
Okay, check the other cabinet.
That one is unlocked. It holds a small box containing a deck of playing cards and an assortment of wine glasses.
I will take the playing cards as well.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, looking around, you see, other than the cask of wine, which seems to be full, doesn't seem to be anything else in here.
I'm going to roll that cask of wine out into the entryway, and I'm going to throw the tablecloth on top of it.
Sorry, I should say, a cask sort of like, it's like this big.
Then I'm going to put it in my pack.
Perfect. But yeah, other than that, you guys don't find anything else of interest on this floor. In particular, you don't find any basement.
So is the harpsichord still playing, and is it playing... Can I tell enough as a musician to know, is it playing exactly the same way every time, or is it playing as if somebody is actually playing it?
It does seem like someone's actually playing it, though you do think that they've been playing the same song for like a good 20 minutes now.
Huh.
So they must be very, hardworking, or something is wrong.
All right. Well, go up the stairs, I guess.
Yeah, so Pavu, you're taking point, I guess?
Yes.
So who, for marching order, I guess front and back are the most important. Who is in front and who is taking the rear?
I'm in front.
I'll go behind Pavu.
I'll go behind Ravane, and then
I'll
old
go.
man and Baba can be behind.
Okay.
Elphaba's in the back.
Yeah.
I'll be
Okay.
fourth in line.
Perfect. So you guys climb up, moving you guys over here. The second story, the staircase continues all the way up. This hallway is unlit, though the light from downstairs is radiating up here at least a little bit.
I have a light.
Oh yeah, you've got a light. Okay, perfect. So you can see everything. This is an elegant hall. Hanging above the mantelpiece is a wood-framed portrait of what appears to be the Durst family. There's a man and a woman with 2 smiling children who you see recognized as Rose and Thorn from outside.
Is it Fred Durst up there?
It is not Fred. Cradled in the father's arms is a swaddled baby with the mother, which the mother regards with a hint of scorn.
Winston.
Standing suits of armor flank wooden doors in the east and west walls. Each suit of armor clutches a spear and has a visored helm shaped like a wolf's head. The doors are carved with dancing youths, though Corvus, you recognize that these youths aren't really dancing, but actually fighting off swarms of bats.
What type of armor?
It looks to be plate mail, though upon closer inspection, it looks like it does not contain any straps whatsoever. It is completely non-functional, though the spears are real and sharp.
What about the helm?
The helm is also usable. It wouldn't give you a mechanical thing, but it would look really cool.
That's got to be advantage on an intimidation check. Come on.
I would say, yeah. If you,
Definitely
occasion,
taking
for
a
sure.
wolf head helm.
The harpsichord song is coming from the southern door. And yeah, no sound is coming from the northern door or the smaller northern door.
Let's do the non sound oriented door first if
It's funny
no one
'cause
objects.
I was gonna nod at you to go to the sounding door, and you just went against everything. So, whatever.
Well, I figure if
Just go ahead.
we
and
don't
be a
know what's
bard.
playing it could be
You're
the monster for all we know. So let's deal with that when we're better armed.
Before we go, I suggest I'm gonna kindle the fire in the fireplace if it's laid.
Yes, this one also dry wood ready for burning.
I'm gonna light that up before we proceed.
Yeah. As you do so, the room lights up and heats up noticeably to a comfortable temperature, and that is when you guys notice basically everyone except for Elphaba notices that there is a cool air coming from the 3rd floor. Elphaba is good at perception, as good as a normal human, but doesn't notice this very subtle thing. It turns out all of you have 13 perception, which is apparently the number of perception you're supposed to have. So yeah, do you want to open up this northern door?
Yes.
Actually, first off, does anyone want to take any spears?
Well, I have my spear. My fancy spear.
I'm gonna snag a spear as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the partisan.
This room is a library.
Oh yeah.
Red
Heard
velvet
that one.
drapes cover the windows of this room.
So
And
my
ex-
bedroom.
An exquisite mahogany desk and a matching high-back chair face the entrance of the fireplace, above which hangs a framed picture of a windmill perched atop a rocky crag. Situated in the corners of the room are 2 overstuffed chairs, and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves line the south wall. A rolling wooden ladder allows for one to more easily reach the high shelves. Atop the desk, there are several items resting atop it, including an oil lamp, a jar of ink, a quill pen, a tinderbox, and a bunch of stuff that I'm just going to copy and paste into the chat. Though I should read because this is Discord, or because this is thing. A litter kit containing red wax candle, 4 blank sheets of parchment, and a wooden seal, bearing what seems to be the Durst family insignia, a windmill.
Can it be? It's not the same signal as the wax signal as the person had on that piece of paper that was dead.
That's correct. It is different.
So
Okay.
even if I don't take it, and just for reference, the forgery kit proficiency, I'm at least going to study it very closely. If somebody else wants it, that's fine. But if nobody else takes it, I will take it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
But I'm going to study it very closely.
It doesn't have the sort of tools needed to create a perfect forgery, but
Right.
do think you could use it to make some legal-looking stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I might need to take notes for where we're at, because if we ever get back.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit. I didn't know what you said. Oh, you're totally gone. Do you want to try?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, yeah.
I can't hear any of you.
I can hear everyone except Eric.
Yeah, Eric
Yeah.
just really was broken up for me.
Yeah, I hit 9,000 ping.
Oh
Wow.
boy.
Well, over 9,000.
Yeah.
Let me change servers again.
Wow.
Oh shit, ball.
There we go. Different server.
Okay.
All
Hopefully this will be better.
right. Well, it sounds better.
Happy thoughts.
Late night for Discord.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, I was just going to keep that for note.
I assume he's saying he's going to keep the pack.
yeah. Eric will be playing the rest of the game session via semaphore.
You didn't know that you were supposed to be the monk, right?
So yeah, there's a fancy library. Hundreds of books line these shelves. What do you guys do?
So, I have a
I looked through the
question.
books.
Okay, yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm studying the picture of the windmill. There's obviously some sort of connection with the windmill on the sword, making certain there's not something mechanical for which there is a connection there.
You can definitely tell that this seems to be the family's insignia.
Okay.
The windmill seems to be like stylized the same way
Okay.
in every picture.
So the insignia too incorporated a windmill, I would assume then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense. All right. Okay.
Yeah, their insignia is a golden windmill on a red field.
Gotcha.
Yes, like the shield that Pavu has.
Gotcha.
So the bookshelves, they hold hundreds of tomes. You see a range of topics including history, warfare, alchemy, several shelves containing first edition collected works of poetry and fiction.
The poetry I'll take.
Yeah, and I'll go towards the history to see if I can learn a little bit more about this land that we're in.
Okay. Most of the books seem very old, like 500 years old.
I'm used to that.
Though it is like immaculate how well maintained these books are. And as you're looking,
I'm going to stand sentry while they're doing that.
Okay. You stand sentry and you can still hear this harpsichord playing from the south. Delvin, you notice that up in this northern wall, I'm going to put the token next to it, there is a little gap between two of the bookshelves that looks like there is a room behind it.
Can I try investigation to see if I found a hidden lever or something such?
That was a really long lever.
Yes, it was.
It looks you do spot what looks to be a fake book.
Okay, pull it.
The spring in the hinges causes it to open on its own, swinging forward to a very small secret room. In here, there are a few more bookshelves. These ones are packed with tomes that have no titles on the sides. But there's also a heavy wooden chest with clawed iron feet standing against the eastern wall. The lid is half closed because sticking out of it is a skeleton in leather armor.
Oh my.
Well, that's interesting.
He was dying to get inside.
I don't. I suddenly don't trust that chest.
Can I do an investigation on the chest to see what occurred?
Uh, yes. And you do fairly well, you think. You search around this chest and you see, you do it very cautiously, I imagine.
Yes.
Trying to sort
Yeah.
of go at it
Yes.
at a weird angle.
Just peering and
It looks like in the lock mechanism there is actually a dart trap. And your investigation also finds that the leather armor, which, by the way, is completely workable, it is in immaculate condition, except for the 3 darts sticking out of it. These are the tiny poison dart style things. Though it looks like the dart firing mechanism has, it still works, but it's empty.
I will cast mending on the leather armor and fix the holes.
Yeah, the darts pop out, and this leather armor, other than being inside a skeleton, is fantastic.
I could use
Or
the
being
leather
around a
armor
skeleton.
if there are no other leather wearers. I can't remember if we. I don't think we have any other leather wearers, do we?
Less is more for me, so.
I would take it until we get something a little bit more robust for me.
Yeah, I'm fine without armor at the moment.
Yeah, give it to Pave
Smoke and
then.
mirrors, all right?
Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors.
There you go.
So yeah, Pablo, you can definitely get this armor. It is tight. This was not. This was seems to be a thief that was,
Loosen
tiny
the straps.
size.
Bring the
It's-
breastplate stretcher.
Yeah, this is kind of more like a crop top for you.
Oh boy, that's a good look.
I look dead sexy.
Visual
I-
is worth it.
But I won't penalize the AC. It still works as leather armor. So you can see as you're getting this armor off that the skeleton is clutching a letter in its left hand.
Oh, these fucking.
All right, I'll take a look at that too.
So the letter has a crest that you have never seen before on it.
Oh,
It has been cracked open already, so it's unsealed.
Eagle.
okay. All right.
Yeah, do you want to...
I will
Read
attempt
it?
to read it. I'm assuming all this is in common.
Yes. Yeah, so in common, but in a different handwriting style than you're used to. The people of this land have weird fonts. My most pathetic servant, I am not a messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to you to lead you on a path of immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the ones who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms writhing in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortune spent. You abandoned love for madness. You took solace in the bosom of another woman, and you sired a stillborn son? Cursed by darkness? Of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you as you are. Your dreadlord and master, Strahd von Zarovic.
Strange.
Sounds like a charming fellow.
Yes.
And
Odd.
inside the chest, there's some other things as well, including 3 blank books with black leather covers, 3 scrolls that have gold trim around the edges, and a few loose papers that look to be the deed to this house, the deed to a windmill, and a signed will. The will is signed by Gustav and Elizabeth Durst and bequeaths the house, the windmill, and all other family property to Rosavalda and Thornbolt Durst in the event of their parents' deaths.
Who
Interesting.
does that bequeath the estate to?
Rose and Thorn.
Rose and Thorn.
No,
Who
The
has
2 kids.
that looks different to me. I believe that says something else.
I will
It says
whisper.
Rose and Thorn. I'll point out the words. Right.
I'll whisper
No,
to
right here.
Pavu, or it could.
What has he ever done for you?
Well, I'll unless anybody else wants them, I'll take the book scrolls study.
No, I'm
later.
looking at some of these other books out here. You said that they were unmarked.
Yes. First off, the scrolls, you open them up and you see that they are, in fact, spell scrolls.
Mm.
There are scrolls for Bless, Protection from Poison, and Spiritual Weapon.
Very good.
The books on the unmarked books on the shelves, those seem to be, as you flip them open and look through them, they seem to be packed with tomes describing fiend summoning rituals
Oh,
and necromantic rituals of a cult called the Priests of Osibus. You're not sure, but you think you could spend like an hour of downtime pouring through these books to really get a sense of what they are.
I'll give them over to our scholar.
Thank you. I will
That's
gladly take them.
It is not my sphere of learning.
Yeah. Do you want to take an hour to pour over these, or do you want to wait until you guys take a short rest and?
We'll wait. Yeah. Definitely wait. We'll explore the rest of the manor.
Yeah. You guys look through the secret room and you don't see anything of import. Though there is still the desk in the library.
Oh yeah, I'll check out the
Right.
desk.
So the desk has the desk drawer itself is empty, but you do notice that in the bottom is a small false little corner that can be lifted up. It has a little hinge, and under there is a small key, a small iron key, with little like swirlies etched into the turny bit. I have no idea how to describe this. I'm sorry.
it's
ornate
fine.
key.
Jacob Friend.
Okay.
So you have a nice silver key.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on to it for now.
Looking through this area, investigating, trying to find any more hints, you don't see anything of interest. Though you do notice that it seems darker outside than you think it should be. You can't see out the windows because there's drapes in front of them, but do any of you want to check that out?
I will.
Look through the so you open the drapes and you see a dark gray wall of fog. The fog itself has pressed in on the wall so hard that it is impenetrable.
I advise my fellows.
Lovely.
Luckily, all the windows here seem perfectly sealed, and no cracks or anything have fog coming through it.
And I did lock the door, so you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So back in the main foyer, there's two doorways, one to the north, one to the south.
I'd say let's check this before we.
Yeah, this one heads to a maid's quarters, where there's two unlocked. There's two beds and two unlocked footlockers. There also seems to be a closet to your west and another child-sized
The dumbwaiter.
dumbwaiter. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna examine that chest, and then post-examination, I'm gonna jam it into that dumbwaiter.
And I'll look in the closet.
Yeah, so the chests open up. They contain mostly servants' clothes. There's a few like shoes, boots, but mostly commoner clothes, though you would look like a servant if you wore them. In the closet, there are a few more cloaks. These ones are a lot more light colored, but you spot on the floor, sort of pushed into the corner, there is a long stick about 2 feet long with twine that has been wrapped very tightly all around it. It stands out to you because it seems to sparkle at the tip.
I will go out and present that to our magic user. Do you think that this might be something you could use?
Indeed, it does.
Afaba, can I get you to make me an Arcana check?
Yes. Un momento. Oh.
Not bad. 15 is really good. You sense a inside of it. It looks like this wand is not only a spellcasting focus, but it can cast spells on its own as well. Though you're not sure what spells it can cast. During a short rest, you guys can identify magic items by experimenting with them. But until you do that, you're not sure exactly how to get the spells out of the wand.
Don't you say Wingardium Leviosa?
Wingardium Leviosa.
It's Leviosa. not
Leviosa.
I'm going to dump the clothes onto the floor here and jam that chest into the dumbwaiter.
Sure thing.
I like the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
You've played
dumbwaiter
those
is
games
not going
too.
You can feel when you open the dumbwaiter door, it's cold air is blasting from the upper floor. But you can definitely jam it shut.
I'm beginning to wonder if there is a open window upstairs. Just a thought. I'm gonna close the door back down as far as I can.
Okay.
We didn't look in the other chest or under the bed or examine around and under the beds.
Oh, sorry. Both of the chests contained just clothes. And around and under the beds is nothing. It's spotless. It looks like someone had swept underneath. There's probably a Roomba going around collecting everything.
Can I attempt to disbelieve an illusion?
Yes, absolutely. Make me a wisdom save.
Where am I?
Actually, that would be that's an investigation check. Nowadays, in previous editions, it was a wisdom save. But now it's
yes.
You look your damnedest, searching around for any signs that something might not be real, and you come up empty.
I express my thoughts to the rest of the group. This is too clean.
Well,
those children may not have been real. There's no servants here. Who's been sweeping? Who laid that wood in the fire?
I
Well-
said from the beginning I didn't
tried
trust
to
those
tell you.
children.
I stayed out with them and they disappeared. So
Mhm.
I love the Southern monk.
I'm sorry, it's not my fault.
I mean, my area of expertise is illusion and what have you. What I mean, is
you
there
don't know what I've seen, okay?
is there?
Yeah, I'll say that you could make me an investigation, or I'll make you an investigation with
Yeah.
advantage because you know all about illusion. You also you look for every single sign of illusion, and you're actually pretty sure this is not an illusion. This is real. But your sort of knowledge of magic is like, if this was something magical, it would be more conjuration than illusion.
Okay,
As in, this is real, but still could be magic.
Okay, I will.
It's real fucking
Yeah, I will
creepy.
say that.
Is this real life?
About now, the harpsichord stops playing.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna kick the doors open.
I kicked down the door.
Yeah,
I burned down the village.
That
Okay.
just happened.
this massive man kicks open this door. You see a conservatory. There's gossamer drapes covering the windows of an elegantly appointed hall. It seems to be a dance hall, really. Brass-planted chandelier, upholstered chairs lining the walls. stained glass wall hangings depicting beautiful men, women, and children singing and playing instruments. The harpsichord in the corner and the large standing harp in the other corner have nobody around them. So when you kick open the door, the little seat where the harpsichord, where you would sit at the harpsichord, has a skirt around it, which yelps and shudders. Something is underneath it, and something is frightened.
What's this house made of? Is stone or wood?
Mostly wood, but stone brick walls.
Very well.
You can come out from under there.
Bard needs to go help John right now is what he needs.
What was the name again? That the kids used for their brother?
Walter.
Walter.
Yeah, I'll address him as Walter.
The child was stillborn.
It's a baby.
Well,
You don't get a response by the name Walter, though looking at it closer now, you can see that there's little paws sticking out from underneath. As in dog.
Or wolf.
As in wolf, yeah.
that was playing the harpsichord?
The harpsichord, of course, has completely stopped. It is silent in this house now.
Dun, dun,
Other
dun,
than
dun.
this, it...
Clearly, I taught my dog math.
I didn't have a tiny piano for him to play, but just imagine that he had a tiny harpsichord.
Yeah, what would you guys like to do?
I'll try to help him coax it out. Okay.
We'll play for Elise on the piano and see if the baby responds.
Does someone approach the harpsichord, or?
I'm going to circle around to this side.
Noticing their paws, I will not.
What
I will not approach it.
I mean, is it like
Wait,
big
the
paws or is
harpsichord
it
or
like
playing with the
puppy
piano?
paws?
It looks like a puppy.
I'll coax it out.
Oh,
Do you want to make me an animal handling check?
Yeah, I don't know how successful I'm going to be at that, but
I can't lend you anything.
oh well.
Yeah. From underneath, you see a snout poke through. It is a hurt, tiny dog.
It's hurt?
It is hurt. As you sort of look at its flank, it looks like it has long claw marks, too wide to be a wolf. It is terrified of you guys and only sort of pokes its head out to look at you before it cowers back underneath this table.
I'll lure it out with a little piece of food if I can.
Of our last ration?
It doesn't take much.
Wait,
There was a lot of
Wait.
dried meat downstairs.
yeah, we raided the pantry.
And with your 16 animal handling, that is enough to make the dog bolt out and timidly grab the piece of meat from your hand and then move to the corner and eat it ravishly. It is very hungry.
I'm going to immediately go and check underneath that oily or whatever the hell it is.
Like underneath the
skirt.
Underneath the piano skirt or the stool skirt.
There's a pile of piss.
You're welcome.
It's been there. It looks like this dog has been found its way into this house and is hungry and trapped and been stuck there for a few days.
I am so
You're looking at it and it's
Possibly beaten.
I'm going to examine the piano.
yes. Searching around, you see nothing of real interest. Do you hit any of the keys?
No, but I do lift the top to look inside at the strings.
The strings look well tuned. Although I don't know how much you would know about the tuning of a harpsichord.
Well, they're all attached.
let me try something here. So I'm gonna go because I know nothing about harpsichord, but I do know harp. I have a proficiency with harp, so I will go and play.
Perfect.
I will play the exact tune that was being played. I'm going to both observe the dog and how the dog reacts, but I'm also looking for any other things that change as I do this.
Yeah. So as you play this harp, can I get you to make me a performance check?
Yes.
Either a performance or proficiency harp.
I don't know which would give me the better.
I think they'd probably be the same. They'd both be charisma. You play like I don't know music at all. You like have heard this song that was been trying to play, and you play it perfectly in the first attempt. The dog sort of cowers some more and curls into the corner, sort of frightened by the sound. The harpsichord itself doesn't move or make any sounds, but spectral figures start appearing in the air, half formed. It is only with intense scrutiny that you can tell that they are dancers, dancing to your song. They are only partially there, and they do not really react to your presence. In fact, even passing through some of the chairs.
Interesting.
Wow.
Corvus and Delvin, you guys have amazing insights, and notice that when you can see these spectral figures' faces, they seem like they're unsatisfied. And because I rolled a 20, Delvin, you feel like they're waiting for another musician to accompany.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay,
The
what
part
else?
of Eric will be played by an angry robot.
Oh, that's weird. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've got a good connection.
Yeah, just stalled for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask if anybody has the ability to play the harpsichord.
I could teach you which notes to play, perhaps.
I could attempt it. I've got a 2 for performance.
I'll kind of like show him as much as I know. Like I'm not proficient specifically in harpsichord, but I would know music theory. So
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he'll show me the.
I think
You
Elphaba may be a better.
That's true. Alphabet probably.
Playing an instrument.
Yeah, so even if you don't know,
Yes.
if you don't have proficiency in it, you
Right.
still probably, Elphaba, you probably know enough about just being sort of noble adjacent. You know enough about it that you could at least accompany.
Sure, I do.
Yeah, make me, make me a performance check.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Get it,
Noble
girl.
adjacent.
That's
you-
impressive.
Booyah.
And I'll just keep playing since I didn't have to instruct him. I'm just continuing to
Yeah.
play.
So yeah, Elphaba, you're just like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Perfectly.
But I know.
The dancing figures, immediately, as soon as you start playing, start forming fully. Their faces filled with joy as they dance to your song. As you guys finish the end of, get to the end of your piece, the dancers all sort of clap and spin and twirl, and they all look super happy. When your song finishes, they bow to each other and then to the 5 of you and dissipate. And you guys, as well as the scared dog, feel like you have been not blessed, but gifted something.
Trapped forever.
Everybody heal. Everybody heals 5 hit points and
Yay.
gets a healing surge. Gets a hit dice back.
Ooh, yay.
Those can we take those as temporary?
No, unfortunately.
Worth asking.
Is the dog? The dog appears to be healed.
Yes, it still looks raw and painful, but it doesn't look like it would affect his dogness.
I like that.
It upgrades from scared dog to calmish dog.
All right.
So sorry, who was it that fed it the ration? Was
I
it?
did.
All right. It is going to start sniffing your boots.
As long as it doesn't pee on my boots.
I can tell you that right now.
It is kind of Rivan. It's kind of begging for more scraps.
All right. Well, there was enough in the pantry. I'll give it more.
Yeah, there's one.
It upgrades to calm dog. So this dog, it's in this picture. It has a little harness. It doesn't actually have a harness. But it is about that size and shape.
So kind of like a Spitz.
Yeah, it's not big. It wouldn't be like a good battle dog,
right?
But it's following you around now and seems to be calming down. It's still kind of skittish, and any like quick movement, it'll dash away. But it's following you guys.
I'll speak to it calmly. I don't want to startle it. I don't have any reason to run it off. It might come in useful at some point in time.
I dislike the dog.
Dylan and Corvin's insight, you don't sense any deception from this dog. It is a dog. It's not an illusion or anything. Or like a wolf in dog's clothing.
I still want to know what was playing the harpsichord, but I guess something spectral there as well.
Yeah, looking around, you see nothing of real import.
I'm going to use my divine sense again.
Yes. You sense that this house has a distinct set of evil. The house itself isn't undead, but it is sort of held together with undead magic.
The dog?
The dog is fine. The dog is actually just a dog.
I could have told you that.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and this dog is just a dog.
Who can play the harpsichord? Just saying.
Before we go on further, it's midnight for me. It's been 4 hours since our original starting time. I'm cool with going for a bit longer, but it must be like 3 a.m. for some of you guys.
Easily.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here.
It's after 2, yeah.
My voice is actually starting to give way a little bit, so if we wanted to, we could, if you guys don't mind, we could call it here, or...
Not mind at all.
This seems like a good natural stop.
Sure.
Actually, before we stop, I would like to end on a cliffhanger. Because
of course.
the only thing that you can do next is go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably you do that, and as you get halfway up to the next floor, you notice a very sharp line of where the clean house turns into a 400-year-old untouched house. Everything up here is dusty like hell, and you come to a unclean, filthy suit of armor, sort of half hung up on the wall, and a rotten banister is the only thing stopping you from falling over the 3 floors down. From up here, you hear a baby cry from the southernmost door.
This does not bode well.
Am I getting any pings in the divine sense?
Yes, it is still...
It didn't sound healthy.
Yowza. That can't be good.
The divine sense doesn't penetrate walls, unfortunately. So you can't sense if that baby's a baby. But it seems like the undeadness is stronger up here.
Yeah, there's no way that is a normal baby.
Mm-mm.
The whole stillborn child, the fact that it's an unattended child in this part of the house, no way.
That baby's creepy.
Yeah.
So I want to end it just about now. Where would you guys want to investigate first? Just so I know for next session.
I mean, what do you guys
The
think?
armor.
South? Yeah, okay.
The armor, and that was Pavu who said that.
Yes.
Pavu, as you step towards the armor and look at it, it looks at you.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh, no.
And that is where I will call it for the night.
Oh.
Hey there, good looking.
Yeah. That was fun. You guys
Yeah.
are cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a good time.
So
I'm gonna be wearing that armor next week, though. Would disanimate the shit out of that and then put it on.
disanimate it with my fists.
Yes.
So I'm going to. I gotta run to the washroom. I would love to chat more. If you guys want to talk to me about anything, we can talk about anything and figure out next session. Hopefully, we can figure out Discord stuff. And yeah, I will catch you guys later.
All right.
Jenny, appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
good
I'm
night,
going to go ahead and shut
Bye,
down
man.
the stream.
Yep.
Bye, streamers.
Have a good one.
Thanks for watching, anybody who did.